Straw Hut Media.
Welcome, students of North Shore High, to the Release Date Rewind podcast. Thank you for listening on the Straw Hut Media Network or watching on YouTube. I'm your host, Mark J. Parker, a film lover and filmmaker, and yes, you can sit with us for this new episode about another memorable movie from the past. If you're new here, this show celebrates milestone anniversaries in film, and girl, this one is big. It's super grool and beyond fetch, and we are continuing the April theme of comedy and girls gone wild.
They've gone wild. The girls have gone wild.
So today we're wishing Mean Girls a very happy 20th anniversary. This movie always puts a smile on my face, as it does for many people around the world, and it instantly changed the game and became part of our vocabulary. Now, if you need to watch or rewatch this movie before we continue, it is available to stream on Paramount Plus in the US with a subscription, and so is the new movie musical that came out earlier this year, and we will be talking about that a lot as well. Spoiler alert. So you might want to check that out too if you haven't on Paramount Plus. All right, get in, losers, because the limit does not exist, and it's time to rewind. It's a big movie that we are discussing today, a classic. I cannot believe this movie is 20 years old, and I can't believe I have such fun people to chat with about this classic movie. Everybody, welcome back to the show. Jason A. Coombs, who was last on. Jason, you were back in, I think it was November, like a year and a half ago for The Bodyguard. Remember that?
Yes.
Welcome back.
One of my favorite movies.
Yeah, I know. And I remember, Jason, I remember you. And Cinderella, yes, we did a Whitney double feature that night. Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you for that. And I wrote down in my notes when Jason said, "Oh, if you ever do Mean Girls, like I am there." I'm like, okay, all right, let me file that away. Yes.
Thank you.
I knew you would love to do this, so I'm like, let's get Jason back. And it's not just me and Jason, folks. If you're watching, you see this beautiful face. If you're listening, you're waiting with bated breath to hear from Madison Eastman, actress, beauty queen, crafter.
God. You're so nice, Mark.
All these things.
Thank
Dancer,
you.
all these things, Madison. Hello.
Hello. My first podcast ever.
No, really?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. I'm so excited. I've never done this before. This is so very cool.
Well,
Checking it off the list.
Oh my gosh, I am honored that I'm your first podcast checkmark. That is crazy. Are you sure you're not forgetting anything?
I'm sure. I've never been invited. There's never been a reason. And then I think when I messaged you after I saw the Mean Girls musical on my tangent, I think I must have sent you like 30 messages.
Oh,
you were like, "Oh, we got to have you on." I said, "Yeah,
I'm like,
this is the one."
Save the date.
Save the
April
date.
2024 in a couple months, because the movie, right? We saw it in theaters in what was that, January, right? A couple months ago. So I was like, all right, hold that thought. Say no more. Save it for the podcast.
And I said, you got it. That feels like it was just yesterday, but here we are.
I know. Time is crazy. I cannot believe, guys, that this movie is 20 years old. It's freaky because I remember this time in my life, April 2004, so well. Okay, where were we all 20 years ago? Madison, you're very young. Were
I'm
you
11.
like, oh my God.
And like not understanding sex jokes and like things in that show were just going over my head.
Yep, exactly.
So I was 11 and I did see it in the theaters for sure.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Jason, how old were you 20 years ago?
Oof. I was
What were you doing?
18 years old. I was a senior in high school when this movie came out.
Yes. Wow, Jason. Yeah, you're like me. I was newly 17. When I saw this in the theaters opening weekend, I didn't see it opening day, April 30th. I saw it Saturday, May 1st, right after taking the SATs. So what a big high school day for me. But yeah, I was end of junior year. So you were, oh my gosh. So Jason, you probably knew by this point, like where you were going to college, right? You probably did.
Yeah, I was actually, so I didn't see the movie in the movie theaters. I don't know how I missed this movie. When I was like thinking back to it, I'm like, where was I in April 2004, excuse me. Yeah. I think because I was like a theater major and I was like doing like shows. I guess I just totally missed this. I did freshman in college.
Wow.
Later, like in September of 2004.
Oh my gosh, you missed the theatrical run, but I mean, I'm sure you replayed the DVD. I mean, like, I feel like I've seen this movie so many times. I'm sure you guys have as
Yes,
well.
so many times.
Yeah.
Repeat, right?
Mhm.
Wow. Okay, well, hold the Mean Girls thoughts. I want everyone to hear what's going on in your lives. So, Madison, let's go to you first.
Okay.
Newbie to the podcast world, newbie to Release Date Rewind. So,
Yes.
Madison, like I said, is an actress. You have Mad Crafty
I
on
do.
Instagram and TikTok, right?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Do you
And
want to tell us like
I
all
I'll
your
tell you
cool stuff?
I'll tell you something more funny than cool about my mad crafty TikTok. So
Okay.
so I have this I do like DIY, but not Martha Stewart DIY, like cool anybody can actually do this. Like fun stuff for adults, mind you. So I've had my
Yeah.
YouTube for about 5 years. I said, let me go on TikTok. Let me try that out. So I'm really going for it. I'm posting every day. And then one day I just kind of had a silly thought. I was like, you know what? I have like crazy loud hiccups. So I was at a dog cafe with my dog and I had these hiccups and I was like, let me just like record them. And I don't really know why I posted them on my Mad Crafty, but can someone just tell me why that my hiccup video got more attention than any craft video on my entire channel? Not
People
only
are
did
so
it
weird.
it's ridiculous. Not only did it get more attention, but I got DMs asking for like hiccup videos. I was like, no one wants to see me paint. No one wants to do crafts. You guys just want to see me hiccup. So I just think it's like kind of hilarious that of course, that's just like TikTok. I guess the algorithm. It's kind of tough. But yeah, crafty all day, every day on YouTube. I have a children's YouTube
Yeah.
channel too, where I do
Yeah.
like read alouds, which is why I have this whole get up now. I was
Yeah.
recording a few children's books actually a few minutes ago before we started.
Oh, I love that.
It's
I was
just
gonna
so
say
much
because
fun.
you're meant for podcasts because you have an amazing setup
Yeah.
right here.
I
Look at that
know.
As
microphone. I mean,
as soon
wow.
as COVID started and voiceover auditions were, like, not in person,
Exactly.
they said, "You gotta get something good if you wanna continue," and I think during COVID, I had more voiceover auditions than any other kinds, honestly, 100, at least 100 in the 2-year span. So, this
Wow.
kind of became my best friend, and now I'm so happy because when you wrote to us about the microphone, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I've got the whole setup."
Check.
So,
Mhm.
just
Wow.
checking it off the list.
Love it. Oh,
Yes.
well, it looks great. And
Thank
so,
you.
yeah, so YouTube, TikTok, the children's YouTube page. So, how does that work? Are you reading like stories?
So,
What tell us about that?
the idea was to create an alter ego of myself because
Right.
I'm thinking about, Steve from Blue's Clues, and
Mm,
he's forever just kind of Steve from Blue's Clues, and I wanted to, of course, still audition in this world, so I said, "I need a wig, I need an alter ego, I need a costume, a la like a Steve or a Dora the Explorer." So I wear the
right.
same outfit, the same wig. I'm still Madison, but I think maybe people wouldn't recognize me. And
Yeah.
I do read alouds, I do interactive games, some crafts, but mostly read alouds. And I post every single day. So I'm like crossing my fingers if the algorithm
Wow.
will pick me up. And what's interesting
Yeah.
about YouTube is that people do read alouds on there, but like they're not all actresses. So like they don't have the equipment. So I'm listening
Mm,
to them read and like the P's are being popped and like
mhm.
the enunciation is off. But then you learn that to a child that doesn't matter because those people
Mm,
have astronomically more views than I do. But I'm on the train and we're just riding the train for that. So I'm hoping
yeah.
for a some sort of eventually once I have the following, I would like to write a children's book.
Oh, I
Uh
love that.
that's kind of like the next step I'm going for. But it's good. It's
Yeah.
keeping me busy with all, the downtime as actresses and actors, people in the business or in general. You've got a lot
Mhm.
of it. So you gotta put that creativity somewhere.
Mhm. Wow, love that, Madison,
Yeah.
and I would love for you to write a children's book. I'm right now producing very on the side, a side project, with a team of people up here in Maine, an indie children's TV show.
Oh,
So,
cool.
yeah, it's very like, I mean, I signed an NDA, so I guess I should stop
You
talking.
can't talk about it,
But I
but
mean, one other thing I'll say about Madison before we move over to Jason's whole career going on as well. He's got to fill us in on what he's doing. Madison, like we were saying, is also an actress, and I've had the honor of how many years do you think you've been working on What Would You Do Now? Has it
like
been like close to 10?
yes, very close to 10. Yeah. And I'll thank you for that because that was all you. That was
I
totally all
will.
you.
I'm pretty sure, and you'll know better than me, because I used to remember these things, and then all these faces and all these years,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't really remember anymore. But I think was your first scenario? Did we fly you to Portland,
Oh my
Oregon?
gosh. No, you didn't.
Oh no!
First
Oh no!
I did we
Okay,
did fly. We went to, Arizona where we shot
was it
5
Arizona?
scenarios,
Was that
which
your
was
first
it
like?
wasn't my first, but
Okay,
it was very early on in the
early on.
span that I was
Okay,
So that was, like, the most exciting I mean, to work on
Yeah.
location is a dream, I think, for any
Oh, yeah.
actor,
Uh-huh.
especially on that show where everyone is actually kind and nice. But my first
Yeah.
scenario was, getting engaged to an Asian boyfriend, and my parents disapproved. That was the first one.
Wow. Oh my
Uh
gosh, so yeah, you've done that one a couple
Wow.
times. We've had you do
Yep, I did the
the
Jewish, we did,
yeah,
transgender, we did Native
Native
American.
American, I remember that one. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
yeah. I
Oh,
think Madison became,
wow.
like, the girl that's getting married to
to X,
blank,
Y,
and
and Z,
parents aren't happy. Yes,
and so
uh-huh.
grateful for it, let me tell you,
Oh,
so,
yeah, no
yeah.
problem at all. Yeah, we love Madison, and you were just on this current season that's airing. Have you
Yes, a
are
few
you in
weeks
any
ago.
more episodes, or
No,
are
I
all your
just
episodes
they
done
they aired both my scenarios in that one episode, which was kinda
in
cool.
that one
So
episode? Yeah.
just that one, for this
I need
season.
to watch. I love that show. I love
Yeah.
Jonathan
Right? And
Majors.
Yeah,
it
it's
looks
fast, it's
so
fast,
good now, Jason. These cameras that the team used, because this last season, like, I strictly was casting, nothing else, thank God. And
Yeah,
so, Amanda, our friend who
yeah.
got roped into casting, that was very interesting. So, yeah,
That
I didn't
was,
get a
yes.
chance this season to really cast Madison because they tried to, like, do some shoots without me, and then Amanda's like, "Yeah, we really need Mark to, like, help me out here." But tell us,
Yeah.
Madison, what scenarios were you just in that just aired? I know it
Okay,
was the infamous date rape,
yep,
drug scenario.
roofie my drug, sorry,
Yep.
roofie my drink, which
Mhm.
again is always fun. Although sometimes, like, I wanna say that I really I think I prefer a little bit to be the Regina George, which sometimes I get to be.
Mm. Mhm.
But this time I was the victim, uh,
Yeah.
and then in the second scenario, I was a manager of a store, and we had, someone stealing. First, they did a teenager, and then they did a woman over the age of 60, I would say.
Right.
Just
Okay,
to
yep.
kind of see the difference,
Yep.
which was sometimes they're really lighthearted and sometimes they're super
Mhm.
serious. Uh,
Mhm.
those 2 were like, the shopping one was kind of funny, there was a lot of funny
Yeah.
moments there.
Yeah.
And then
Because
the
I think that
roofie
was with
one,
Mary. Am I
yes,
right?
that was
Mary Lauren, who's just
that's
the
absolutely
sweetest.
right. The
Yeah.
sweetest
Okay.
gem, wonderful
Yeah.
woman. I hope to be back as long as the show runs. It's
Yeah.
just such a good time, and John is, like, the most wonderful man, and I hate when people think the show is fake because it's so not
I
fake.
know. I
It
know.
people really, really think so. The amount of conversations I've had with sometimes strangers, I'm like, "No, no, it's 100% real."
I
Uh,
know. Especially with me saying, "Yeah, I cast that show." Then so many people are like, "Oh, so I knew it. All those people are fake." I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. Just
no.
like the 3 people that are, like, doing the bad thing or whatever.
Right,
Everyone
right.
else, I don't know them at all, but, then I have to, like, really explain. Like, I've lost them. I've lost So now I'm gonna finally move over to Jason. Hello, Mr. Jason. So
Hey,
you do it
Jumbo.
all too. Jumbo, you are also an actor, you're a filmmaker, any listeners that remember from last time, Jason also has a podcast he's gonna tell us about in a second. He's got a film festival. You do a million things as well. Tell us, like, where are you at with everything? How's everything going? What do you wanna
Oh
promote? What are you
gosh.
working on? Tell us.
I'm trying not to get any more gray hairs. All these things I'm doing is
I
keeping me
know.
all over the place. No, but yeah, I've been just hustling. We have a podcast I do with my amazing co-host Samantha called Survival Jobs, a podcast where
Yes.
Oh,
we
cool,
interview artists. Yeah, we interview artists that we
cool.
admire about their artistic journeys from working in gig work or babysitting or whatever they were doing to like
Yeah.
getting on Broadway or directing a movie or writing a screenplay that gets sold to Netflix. So we had a bunch of really amazing guests on this past season. We're in season 3 right now.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
You guys are doing really well, and I loved
thank
Jason's,
you.
like, pictures or video that you posted, like, because your podcast is with Broadway World, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
We're
you guys
super
had, like, a
fortunate.
like, a party? Was it a premiere party or something? But it was like, "Oh my god, that's so exciting."
Yeah, we
Right?
had like a season 3 premiere launch
That's
with
Look at
cool.
you.
yeah, I wish I knew you, Madison. I would have invited you. It was in
Oh
your
god,
it was
do
in the
I have the
city.
survival, oof, survival gigs up the wazoo, yeah.
Yeah, right? Being an
Yeah,
actor, you kinda
yeah,
have to.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we had a really good time with that, and we launched season 3 with actually Jonathan Bennett. Aaron Samuels
Oh my
himself
gosh,
was
I didn't
our
even
guest.
Stop, that's so
wow.
cool.
Yeah, I
Oh,
was
Jason, this is
fangirling the whole
perfect.
time.
I need to listen. Oh my god, I'm behind. I'm so behind. Was he
It's all
great?
good. He was so great. He actually did, like, a quote from the movie for us.
Love it.
It's a really fun episode. He's a
Yeah,
really
because
sweet
oh,
guy.
that's
Oh, I
right.
gotta
Because
listen.
wasn't he was just on Broadway in
Spamalot.
Spamalot, am I right? Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cool.
He made his
That's
Broadway debut
great.
in Spamalot. Yeah.
Wow. Oh,
So
love him.
that's yeah, I'm just getting ready for the Bridgeport Film Fest happening this
Yes.
September
Uh-huh.
coming up. And yeah, I just did a reshoots on an independent film I did in December 2022, but we had reshoots last week So hopefully
Okay.
that's coming out this year,
Oh,
and
yeah,
so it's
was
an
that
exciting.
that might have been the movie you were telling me about that you were working on you were
Yeah,
about to work on.
before.
How funny, wow, okay, so and you're in that. You didn't write,
Yeah,
direct,
I'm in
produce,
that. Yeah,
you're
someone
acting in that.
cast me in it, and
Great.
yeah, we had a really good time, and it's my first like lead role in a feature film, so that's been pretty cool.
Big
And
deal. That's amazing.
That's
thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna see what happens, but
That's
we're having a good
great.
time.
But
Of
yeah,
course.
Jason, how many years have you been running, the Bridgeport Film Festival now?
It's our fourth year. September will
Nice.
be our fourth year. It's crazy. I feel like it's just started, but it's been we've been pretty consistent
That's
the last
awesome.
4 years. So and we're
That's
doing like
awesome.
meetups and we're doing like networking events and we're doing pop-up screenings. We're just really trying to
Great.
make a really inclusive community and bring more art and culture to my hometown of Bridgeport, Connecticut. So
Yep, that's great.
yeah,
Oh my
thank
gosh,
you.
so exciting. I love hearing all the good stuff. With your podcast, Survival Jobs, can you do you wanna tease, any upcoming guests later in April, May,
Oh
or do you wanna keep it a
yes.
secret? I don't know. You feel free to plug if you want.
We have a really fun season. We have somebody from The Notebook coming on,
Cool.
Ooh,
this in a couple weeks, and we have an actress from Suffs, so from the new Broadway
Ah,
musical
yeah,
Suffs. So
yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, so we're it's really fun. We're talking to
nice.
people. We're making those connections.
That's great.
Yeah, so we're also on Broadway Podcast Network, which I should shout out as well.
Yeah.
And they've been super supportive of helping us get guests as well. So like we do a little
Nice.
bit of outreach, we slide into those DMs, we
Oh,
give it a
yeah.
shot.
You
But also
gotta.
like
Yeah.
they have a really cool connection to the communities, of course. So they're always like, hey, we have this guest. Are you interested? And we're like, yes, we'll talk to
Nice.
almost anyone because we love inspiration. We love
Mhm,
people telling their stories and we get inspired by that. Because Samantha and I are both creatives ourselves, as you know. So we
mhm.
love a good inspiring story and we just want to be where these folks are one day, so we're gonna keep pushing and keep learning and keep listening.
That's
So
great. Oh my god, love it. See?
Wait,
There
I
you
thank
go.
can't wait to
you.
I
listen. This is so
Yeah,
awesome.
right?
Yeah, I didn't know it
And
existed. Now I do. It's
oh,
amazing.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. It's
We have
it's
a
a
good
great
time.
show. And I feel like what you just said there, Jason, is like, I can clip that and send it to you, and that's a great little, like, ad for your show or something, the way
Thank
you just
you.
described it. So there you go, right? Yeah, definitely check out both of these great creators' stuff, everybody, and I'll link things and all that as
Yeah.
well. We'll be right back.
I'm 16. Until today, I was homeschooled. And then it was goodbye, Africa. And hello, high school.
All right, well, enough of today, everybody. Enough of 2024. We're rewinding. We are going back to when Madison was a little 11-year-old. Oh my God. We're rewinding, everybody, back to April 30th, 2004. Oh my gosh. Spring is in the air and was in the air. I don't know about you guys, but today, the last couple days here in Southern Maine, it's been so nice feeling the sun, feeling
It's
the warmth.
gorgeous.
Winter is slowly going away. So I'm sure New
Thank
York,
goodness.
Connecticut, right?
Mhm.
Thank
Yep.
God, right? We have
Mhm.
gotten through winter. And that's how I was feeling 20 years ago when this movie came out, basically May 1st. And like as a teen or a kid, like, oh my God, school's almost over. Thank God, right? And so in comes Mean Girls. So, everybody, I'm just going to set the scene for you both, and I want to hear your thoughts. I'm going to just, list a few things of what was popular at this time to jog our memories.
Mhm.
Okay. Here we go. On the news side, I thought this was so funny. Earlier in April 2004, Google had just introduced Gmail.
What?
Well, like I was like, wow, 20 years ago. Because
Wow.
I didn't get Gmail until I was using my AOL for a
Same.
while,
Same.
right?
Same.
Yep.
Yeah.
A long
So
time.
Gmail maybe closer to like 20, I don't know, 2008, 2009. I don't even know. So I was a little late to the Gmail game, but they had just unveiled that whole part of their business. On the music side, Usher was like
Mm.
king. It's
Mhm.
Yeah.
incredible, right? Exactly, Jason. Yes. And it's a song I don't love. I've talked about it on the show. I don't love, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just, even back then, I was like, oh my God, okay, the song is so repetitive. But yeah, by Usher with Ludacris and Lil Jon, it was still number one. It was number one on the charts for like 2 solid months. Like, I just feel like that doesn't happen
Wild.
now,
It
right?
doesn't happen, yeah.
But he had that, and then he also had Burn, Let It Burn. That was in the top 5, right?
Yes.
So he had big songs. Beyonce's Naughty Girl, um, I love to love you, babe. Remember Naughty
Yes, yes,
Girl?
Yes, that
yes, yes.
cover of or it's not a
Mhm.
cover, a sample of Donna
It's a
Summer,
sample,
yeah.
exactly, yes.
Love
That
that.
was such a sexy song. That was in the top 5. This Love from Maroon 5, This Love, that I feel like was that like
Taking this part
oh,
of
no, maybe
Of
that
me.
me.
wasn't their first song, but it was like a big early song for them.
Yeah, that was a
Right?
big early song. Yeah.
That was in the top 10.
Wow.
What else do I have? Right? I just feel like again, maybe
Yeah.
because I remember this time so well in my life, like these were songs on my probably green iPod, because this was the time when
Yep.
all the iPods were different
Nano
colors,
and yeah,
right?
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my
Right?
gosh.
All
Wait,
those
Mark, did you know
cool.
that Usher was in that Beyonce video
Oh,
of Naughty
was
Girl?
he? No,
Yeah.
I either didn't know, or I probably knew and I just totally forgot. See,
Yeah.
Usher was everywhere. You
It
couldn't
was
escape
everywhere.
him. Oh my gosh. And then it's amazing that then 20 years later, now he's, he just did the Super Bowl. So he's
He
not going
did.
anywhere.
Hugging
He's
on
here to
Alicia
stay.
Keys right there.
Yes. And speaking of Alicia Keys,
Yeah.
she was also in the top 10, If I Ain't Got You. Remember
Uh,
that song? If
yeah,
I
iconic.
Ain't Got You,
So
right?
good.
So iconic.
Yes.
Then a couple more, just because I gotta keep shouting out this like
Yeah.
soundtrack of 2004. Toxic by Britney Spears. I mean,
That was
truly iconic.
2004, yeah.
2004.
Favorite, yeah.
I think that was on her album that came out in the
In the
end of
Zone?
03, In the Zone, I
Oh,
think.
yeah, that
I
was my
think that was
dance recital song at
oh my
11.
gosh.
That's so
I
cute.
love
Yeah.
that so much. I
Yeah.
love that so much. And that was also, speaking of dancing, that was our go-to dance song. Okay, you guys are gonna laugh at me, but back in 2004, when I was a junior in high school, a group of us theater kids from school that were juniors and seniors and a few sophomores, we had a like an after it was also a state of mind, but sometimes it would actually be at people's houses, called Club Cilantro. And so usually after like a show ended, or it's just like Friday or Saturday night and it's like 9 p.m. and it's like, let's go to Club Cilantro. So usually we'd be at someone's house, but sometimes it would just be like in the parking lot of Starbucks in our town.
Oh my
And we
Oh
would
gosh.
just
my
have dance parties.
gosh.
And
Yes.
Toxic usually often got the party started.
Yeah.
So,
And it
that's
always will. I mean,
it always
It
will, right?
always
Dun,
will,
dun, dun,
yeah.
dun, dun, like, I mean, how do you not get excited, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So Toxic was in the top 20. What else? My Immortal by Evanescence. The
wow.
very very
Is that
somber.
oh my
That's the slow one.
gosh.
I forget how it goes,
It's
but
not Wake Me Up
no,
and
not Wake
No,
Me Up.
different.
Immortal was like it was like piano. It was like
Oh, yeah. It's
very
like very
like
haunting.
Yeah, yeah.
yes,
It was the when you cry, I wipe away all of your tears.
exactly,
I don't
Madison.
remember
Yes.
the rest, but
She
something like
starts
that.
kind of like,
Yeah.
belting it out and everything. Yes, exactly. So Evanescence was having their like ballad song. And then The Way You Move. I like the way you move by Outkast. That was number 20 of the top
Wow.
20 when this movie came out. So I just wanted to
Wow.
really, give everyone the soundtrack to April 2004.
You
Now,
took me back.
right? I hope so. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
we're getting nostalgic, so let's go back, right? But now a song and an album that was nowhere in the top 20 at this time, but I just want to shout out an album that I was obsessed with. I made this video of friends and everybody at school for our like film festival at the end of the year, and it was quite popular. I mean, I'm gonna just like, give myself a pat on the back. But Modest Mouse. Do you guys remember the song "Float On"? And we'll all float on.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
that had just come out, and here I am. I'm 17. I think I'm like cool, and I'm like, yeah, Modest Mouse. Like I'm a little edgy. Like they're like rock and quirky and
Yes.
fun.
Yep.
So I just had to give them a shout out because that album, I think it was called "Good News for People Who Love Bad News," but
Ha.
made a few songs,
love
made a
that
few
title.
videos of
Yeah,
those
I like that
songs.
too.
Yes.
That's great.
It was a great album. Yeah. So if you really want to go back in time, Modest Mouse, that album, Float On, it was just so good. So that's it on the music side. Let me wrap this up with TV and movies because TV was
Ooh.
big, everyone.
Yes.
In a week, actually, I think a little less than a week after this, on May 6th, Friends was about to air their series finale, which was
Oh.
huge.
Mhm.
Do you guys remember that time?
I
Right?
remember that.
Yes.
That was a big deal. We made
gosh.
t-shirts. We went over to my friend's house. We made t-shirts. We had popcorn. Like it was
A
it
big
was an
deal.
event. Yeah. Madison, do you remember that at all? You were young. Like,
I remember I recently binge watched Friends and I
Oh, yeah.
said because back then there was no DVR. So
Mm.
there's episodes that everyone remembers and then there's episodes that I watched that I had never seen before.
Yeah.
And cuz you had the TV guide. So unless
Oh,
you were home on Friday night, I think it aired on Friday nights.
Thursday.
Thursday.
nights.
Thursdays
Uh-huh.
at
Of
8.
course you
You'll
know.
see Thursday.
Damn. If you weren't home, you missed an episode. So I was seeing kind of fresh things.
Mm.
So I was probably honestly Thursday nights. I think I had hip hop on Thursday night. So
Oh, of course. Love
I
it.
probably watched it later on.
Yeah. You recorded it on like a VHS tape.
Yeah. No,
Watch the next
actually
day.
though.
Right? Oh yeah, for real. Are you kidding? Yeah. And Jason, do you remember, like,
Mhm.
did you watch the finale live? Do you remember that?
Yes, we
Yeah.
all watched it, and we talked about it the next day, all day long,
Oh
and then
yeah.
my friend Lacey, there was, like, a DVD of just the episode that came out a couple weeks later. Do you remember that?
I
It
do
was just the
remember that. Yes.
episode,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, and I remember the cover. It was them all looking very, like, sleek, and they were all
Yeah, they were,
dressed
like,
up because
dressed fancy.
it was, like, the final one. So yeah,
Yep.
Jason.
And we went to Lacey's
Wow.
house, like, a couple weeks later, and watched it all as a group. It's
Yeah,
oh,
Iconic.
I
senior
know.
year. That was my senior
Yeah.
year of high school.
I mean, what a
Wow.
time for that to end and for high school to end. Whoa, you were like,
Yeah,
that's a big time. And I
living.
remember 2004, I think, is when Facebook started. So that was like
Mm.
brand new, about to be out. So, like, yeah, what an interesting time. Um, what was I gonna say about oh yeah, Friends? It's funny because Friends ended this time, and then Sex and the City had come to an end just a couple months prior, and they both, I remember like thinking, this is like the year of like the girl needs to decide, is she gonna go to Paris or stay in America, because both
Oh, both?
had,
Yeah,
yeah,
Rachel and
both
Carrie.
big
Wow.
series, yeah, had that whole like, is are they going, are they gonna live there, are they gonna stay there or not? So it's funny how Paris was like, it was either like the US or Paris, nothing else.
Yeah.
Like nothing else for blonde white women, it's those two, so choose
Paris or
wisely.
New York, yeah.
Right? Exactly, exactly.
I
So,
love that.
so that was TV. That was about to have a big moment with the Friends finale, and then other popular movies at this time. So, like I said, this came out end of April. Other April movies were 13 Going on 30, iconic,
Iconic.
right?
Jennifer Garner, right?
Jennifer Garner,
Oh,
Mark Ruffalo,
yeah.
Judy
Yep.
Greer, like, oh, I
Favorite.
almost talked about that on this show, but I was like, I can't do it all. So maybe in 5 years for its 25th. Yeah,
Oh,
well,
yeah,
maybe we'll
yeah.
all come back for that. But love 13 Going on 30, so much fun. Man on Fire with Denzel Washington, and I think
Oh,
Dakota
yeah.
Fanning. Am I right?
Mhm,
Yeah, little Dakota Fanning. Kill
mhm.
Bill Volume 2. I was obsessed with the Kill Bill movies. Oh
Oh
my
my gosh,
gosh.
wait, Mark, I
Yes.
need to stop you there
Yeah.
for a second.
Tell me.
I'm going to Japan in this weekend, and
Yeah.
I made a
Oh,
reservation, at the restaurant. It's an izakaya where they filmed Kill Bill, and
no
yeah,
way.
I'm so excited. I'll send you pictures.
Oh
That's
my God. I'm
iconic.
so
Yeah,
excited
at
for
the
you.
location restaurant that it's probably very recognizable.
Probably.
Yeah.
Is it the with, like, Lucy Liu and all the fighters and everything? That one? Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
Madison, that's awesome.
Yes, I'm very excited. Anyway,
Wow.
So
I
jealous.
love that. Oh,
tangent.
I love that. Yeah, no, that's a great
Yeah.
tangent. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
those tangents are more than welcome. I'm so happy for you. That's awesome. And Scooby-Doo 2, which was another big deal, although I think by this time I
Yes.
was sort of over that, but SMG, we love our Sarah Michelle Gellar, Freddie
Me
Prinze
We
too.
love her.
Jr., right? So very
Mhm.
fun movies at this time. So there we have it. That is a little, trip down memory lane.
Mm.
Now I'm going to throw it over to you two for a second. It's always fun when I have two guests because it's a little bit of teamwork.
Yes.
So, in your own words, guys, let's have Madison start, and then Jason, you
Mhm.
can finish. Okay. So, Madison and Jason, in your own words, doesn't need to be long, but for anyone out there who I'm worried about and has not seen Mean Girls, if you haven't, please get help. Please, like, blink your eyes.
Please.
Um, but please give us a sign. But anyone out there who just needs a refresher, what is Mean Girls about? So we'll start with Madison, and then halfway through, throw it over to Jason, and he can take us home.
Okay. I think everyone that has been to middle school or high school, there is a mean girl clique sometimes. Actually, unless you went to theater school like I did, and there was not a mean girl clique,
Oh,
because we
nice.
were all just kind of like theater nerds. So in a pretty standard high school, there is a clique of mean girls, and this movie is about said clique welcoming a out of countryer. I was going to say out of towner.
Yeah.
Katie is from Africa, South Africa, and she comes and she is experiencing high school for the first time because she was homeschooled her entire life.
Right.
And she kind of, I guess I would say, gets swallowed into this high school hole of meanness and hotness and
Yep.
fashion and makeup and drama that is just
Yes.
so juicy and fun to watch. It's different when you experience Mean Girls in real life. It's like not fun,
Mm,
but this is fun.
mm.
This is
Oh,
fun,
yeah.
and it also comes with like learning lessons, and Tina Fey wrote it, and
Mhm.
it's hilarious. So anyway, so you're on Katie's journey basically throughout, and Katie befriends these three mean girls, and I guess not to spoil it, but I mean, everyone has seen the movie.
Oh yeah, we can spoil. Don't you
Yeah,
worry.
midway, there's some boyfriend action. There's Santa Claus outfits. There's candy canes.
Iconic. Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Jason. You might do a better analysis than me. Why don't you?
Yeah, that's a
take it away?
perfect
No, that
spot.
was
Yeah.
Just like a little.
Great. Well, I guess I was just feeling that Katie kind of falls in love with Regina's boyfriend, and Regina, who's like the queen bee of the Mean Girls, doesn't really treat her boyfriend well. Katie, like, that's her first crush she's had since she was like 5 years old. And she teams up with kind of the outcasts of the school, right? Damien and
Janice
oh
Ian.
my God, Janice Ian, who have been victimized, much like the rest of the school, by Regina George. And they hatch a plan to get back at Regina and to take her down from being the queen bee.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I guess Katie becomes the queen bee of the school. She becomes what she had no clue of what she wanted to become. And she kind of enjoys being that role, taking down Regina and taking over that role. And then she has her come to Jesus moment where she's brought back to reality by her mother, her parents, by her outcast friends, and of course, Tina Fey's character, Mrs. Norbury, also brings her back down to life as well.
Mm-hmm. Well said. Oh, I love that teamwork. Yes, A+ on that Mean Girls assignment.
Right here, Madison.
Hi, I'm Katie. I'm Janice. This is Damien.
Watch out, new meat coming through.
This map shows the school's central nervous system, the cafeteria.
You got your cool Asians, burnouts, jocks, the greatest people you will ever meet, and the worst.
So you've never been to a real school before? Shut up. Shut up.
I didn't say anything.
Every time I rewatch, I forget how I feel bad for the adults. Like, there's a time when I feel bad for her parents, you know, when she's lying and she's supposed to go, you know, to see Ladysmith Black Mambazo.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is a real band, apparently.
Had no clue. It's like 3 years after I saw that movie.
Right? Yeah. I'm like, Tina Fey totally made that up. Oh no, she didn't, right? But yeah, you know, when she's lying and the party, and then with Miss Norbury, when Tina Fey says, "I'm really disappointed in you, Katie," when like she knows that Katie's lying and is not fessing up to it, it's like
It hits.
yeah, right? I feel bad when the adults are disappointed, you know, because they're actually pretty cool, you know, but just when you're a kid, you think they all are awful, you know?
Yeah.
Plastics. Who are the plastics?
They're teen royalty.
That's Karen Smith. She is one of the dumbest girls you will ever meet.
I'm kind of psychic. Really? It's like I have ESPN or something.
Gretchen Wieners.
She has 2 Fendi purses and a silver Lexus.
And evil takes a human form in Regina George. She knows everything about everyone.
That's why her hair is so big. It's full of secrets.
Okay, plastics. Well, before we get into our favorite, you know, scenes, favorite moments, let me just quickly tell you where our major players, not everyone, but where they were in their careers at this time as they were working on this movie, how it came to be, right? So a lot of people forget that this movie is based on a book. Did you guys ever read the book?
Queen Bees and Wannabes.
Yeah. Did you read it,
read
Madison?
it.
I didn't
No?
read it. No.
Did you read it, Jason?
Never read it. No.
No, right? Me
I
neither.
heard it's
So-
not really it's not like a traditional book, right? Like
right. It's nonfiction. It's a self-help book, right?
okay,
Queen
yeah.
Bees and Wannabes by Rosalind Wiseman. That came out in 2002. So just around 2 years before this. The subtitle for it is, I just love it because it's so serious. Helping your daughter survive cliques, gossip, boyfriends, and other realities of adolescence. Right?
But it's
Tina
so
Fey
dirty,
said, hey,
right?
yeah.
Right? I know. I'm like, I kind of want that to be the Mean Girls like subtitle because that's like so great. But yeah, so that was a thing, right? It obviously caught Tina Fey's attention, right? So Tina Fey, of course, as we know, she was on SNL for a while. While making this and while it premiered, they shot it so quickly. They shot, I read, in the fall. I think it was September to November in Toronto. Of 2003, and then it came out in late April of 2004. So really fast turnaround. Like that's crazy.
Yeah,
like
that's super
when it
quick.
takes me a year to like finish a short, I'm like, well, yikes! I guess I gotta like speed up a little bit. So I mean, also I didn't have Mean Girls money, right? But so they're working on that, and I just heard actually I was listening to Tina Fey on Willie Geist's podcast. I guess because she at this time really did not like flying. She would do SNL. You know, she would be doing the Saturday night shows, and then that night get in a like truck or a van that had a bed, and someone would drive her to Toronto and she'd sleep. She'd get there by the morning and then shoot and then
That's
go
wild.
back. Isn't that
That's
wild?
wild, yeah.
And she's funny. She says, like, I really should have just flown because I would have gotten there much faster, or just left Saturday or Sunday morning. But
Yeah.
but isn't that amazing when you just, when you actually hear that and you're like really putting yourself in her shoes, like, okay,
It's
bye
wild.
everyone. Great show. Let
Yeah.
me get in this van to then direct Lindsay Lohan and Friends the next day for a few days and then come, like, crazy. So yeah, so season 29 of SNL. So screenwriter Tina Fey, she loves the book. Now, because it was nonfiction, I guess obviously she really had to get really clever. And I mean, this script, as you guys can agree, is so perfect. Like
Yeah.
the words,
Literally.
not only the lines, right? The lines, there's a reason we're quoting them still 20 years later. They have
Yeah.
totally entered, much like Clueless, but even I think more
Bigger.
so. Like,
I think bigger.
right?
Yeah.
Bigger.
Yeah.
All ages have been quoting this for 20 years, but even just the story, just how things get more and more twisted, how things come back, like it's just amazing what she was able to do with a nonfiction book. So apparently she did add a lot of her own 80s high school experience in Pennsylvania into the mix as well, right? And we can feel that because it's got some good classic teen movie stuff, but it also felt, I think, so modern, right? Like it felt, when we first saw that was so fresh. It did not feel corny or dated, right?
No, it still
Yeah.
doesn't.
It really
still
doesn't.
It still doesn't.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about the movie musical, but one thing I will say that I like about it, I'll just say it right now.
Mhm.
Speaking of feeling fresh, I did appreciate that the brand new movie musical did incorporate social media, cell phones, some vertical video. I thought that worked well. Do you guys agree or no? Oh.
It shouldn't have been made. It was so good. Why did they have to make that? Although I feel like it happened and now no one's talking about it anymore. Like it kind of was big for
It had
a
its
week.
moment.
It had its
Yeah.
moment, and then now when anyone says Mean Girls, I don't think of that. I just think of the movie.
The
Yeah.
original, right? Yes,
I
like
just think of the original. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
watched
hear you.
it. I watched it this morning, and I actually made the choice. I was like, I don't really want to watch the musical one again. I really didn't love it. Whatever.
Oh.
I'm sure we'll get into it.
Yeah,
But,
we'll get into it,
that
but yeah.
it's just like, how do you recreate those characters?
I know.
You're watching these like stars, and
I
they weren't even stars yet. Like they were
yeah.
so in their career. It was like the beginning. It was the beginning, and to
Mhm.
see the kind of roles that they've the movie
Been able to,
Embodied.
like
yeah.
after that, but just like
Mhm.
Karen is. I mean,
I
how do
know.
you
That was like her
how do
first
you
movie,
read?
right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wild.
Crazy.
It's amazing how they all have become. I mean, Rachel McAdams and like Lacey Chabert, who is like, I think now officially the queen of Hallmark.
Hallmark.
Like,
She's
Yeah,
the queen of Hallmark.
yes.
like they all are doing all sorts of great things. And Jonathan Bennett, like,
Yeah.
oh
That was
my
his
God,
first
yeah.
movie too.
Wow. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
he
And I
tells
do
a
have to
really good
say,
story on our podcast about
oh, I cannot wait to hear.
Oh
because
yeah,
Yeah.
I want to listen.
he's fun. But it's funny, like, the new guy that plays Aaron Samuels in the movie musical, I know he's on that show, The Summer I Turned Pretty, and I guess he could be kind of cute. I don't really see it.
No, he
I
was
just
not Jonathan Bennett.
he was not Jonathan Bennett. I agree, Madison. Right?
When you
These
turn
things?
around, when he does that first turnaround and looks at you, like
Yeah.
still now when I watched it before, my heart was like, oh my God, like.
Yes.
But when he did it, I was just like,
Mhm. I know. I was like, he needs like something in his hair. He's got
Yeah, like,
something
it's
on his
just-
face. Like,
not the
what's
same
going on
thing.
here?
It's not the
Right?
same.
No,
Yeah.
Jonathan Bennett looked like he looked so of that time because so many guys had that kind
That
of like
swoopy.
Yeah.
bowl cut kind of thing, like
Mhm.
very like emo like punk bands at the time, right? But he's so like his skin. It's just the eyebrows. I think that's what it is.
The
The
eyebrows.
thick like caterpillar eyebrows were like, ooh,
Yeah,
right?
you can't redo that magic. It's just not.
No, I agree. I know. We're gonna compare because I want to also hear your thoughts later on before we wrap up about like casting wise. I think everyone was better in the original movie, but your favorite Regina, your favorite all that. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But I'll just talk back about Tina Fey. So yeah, she was going back and forth. She brought in because she thought the book was good. She had this idea. She's the one that got Lorne Michaels involved, obviously the SNL executive producer, right? So they worked very closely together. She gets Lorne involved. Lorne had already produced a bunch of movies, obviously a bunch of TV. And it's so funny because would you guys call this an SNL movie? Because there are, including Lorne Michaels, there are 5 SNL people in this movie. Tina, Amy Poehler, Tim Meadows, and Anna Gasteyer, and then Lorne Michaels. So what do you think? Madison, would you say, is this technically like an SNL movie? Yeah? What do you think,
I say
Jason?
yes,
Would you call it that too?
I think it's just surpassed it in a way, right? But I think at the moment when it first came out, I was like, yeah, this is like everybody from SNL's in this. But like now I don't even like think about that. I don't make
Yeah.
that connection anymore because it just
Right.
has a huge life of its own.
Yeah.
But definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I know it's wild. It's kind of more than just that because we have such great SNL movies, Superstar, Night at the Roxbury, on and on. But like this
Yeah.
is so much
Top tier.
more,
Yeah.
right? Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So Lauren gets Paramount involved, the studio. So just like that, now they have money, now they have a budget. In comes director Mark Waters, and his career, you might not know the name that well, but whoa, up until this point, really strong movie. So right before this, the year before, he worked with Lindsay on Freaky Friday, the remake with her and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Love that
That was
movie.
Coming soon.
huge, right? And a
Yeah.
sequel. What do you
Sequel.
guys
Can't
think
wait.
about that?
Excited.
wait.
Excited about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
That
wonder
makes
what's
sense.
gonna happen. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Like
And
that
please-
makes sense to me.
Please bring
Yeah.
back Christina Vidal too, please. I hope if they listen to
Oh,
this.
yes, as her friend. Yeah,
I need to bring
totally.
her back as well.
Yes, good thinking. And I remember Chad Michael Murray with his greasy hair in that movie, but he
Oh.
did look good. I am a Chad Michael Murray fan, I have to
Yep.
admit.
Me too,
Sorry, he got
still.
me back then.
Same.
One
House
Tree
of
Hill,
Wax,
baby.
taking off the shirt, One
yeah.
Tree Hill, basketball. I mean, yeah, sign me up. Okay, we
Wow.
were into it. But yeah, so Mark Waters had directed Freaky Friday. He directed Head Over Heels, not as good, but very memorable. Freddie Prinze Jr., Monica Potter, A Bunch of Models, rom-com.
Yeah.
And he directed, I didn't even realize until today, he directed The House of Yes, also with Freddie Prinze Jr., Parker Posey. It's a deeper cut movie, but those who love it, love it. It's indie. It's a little twisted, dark comedy. I think Tori Spelling, different
wow.
good people. Yeah. So The House of Yes, I believe it was a play before the movie. So that name has definitely, that title's been around for a while. So he had done some really cool stuff. Now on to our actors, and I'll just keep it at our 4 plastics. All right. I could talk on and on about everyone, but we got things to talk about. So Lindsay Lohan, like I said, just came off Freaky Friday. Of course, she became famous with The Parent Trap, which I rewatched recently, and God, it's just so much fun. Her remake
So
of that.
great.
So she was like the Disney remake queen for a bit there.
She was.
Yeah.
If you remember, right around this time, maybe right before, there was that, Madison, you probably were too young to hear about this, but maybe not. She was like sort of in like a love triangle with Aaron Carter and
Hilary Duff?
Hilary Duff. Yeah, I was gonna say Lizzie McGuire. Hilary Duff. That was like sort of,
Really?
that was
Yeah.
sort of like a little bit of the gossip. I feel like that ended right before Mean Girls came out, or maybe it was during, but yeah, so a little love affair there. I guess he dated Hillary and then left her for Lindsay, and Hillary didn't like Lindsay, right? Something like that. Yes. So some drama
didn't
there.
Hilary Duff go to the premiere of Mean Girls? Is that true?
Oh, so
I think
maybe
I've heard that.
so interesting. I don't know. We gotta
Yeah.
look through
We
pictures.
gotta look that
'cause
up.
then
We gotta look that up.
I like this
was it
drama.
like a real girl mean situation right there? Can you imagine she goes to the
Yeah.
Mean Girls premiere to like ruin Lindsay's night? Ooh.
Or was it
Ooh.
purposeful? Is that like a
Right.
technique? I know they do
Yeah.
it all the time.
To intimidate her,
Totally,
right?
you're right. Yeah, the studio, the publicist could have been like, "Yeah, we want to invite you and like
Yeah.
have you, get some shots." Oh, yeah. We'll have to go
Mm.
back and look at like red carpet
Drama.
photos, right? Rachel McAdams, what an absolute queen as
Oh.
Regina. She had just done The Hot Chick, a very fun body
Yes.
swap movie with her and oh my gosh,
That guy from SNL, right?
Oh God, why can't I think of his name right now? He's in all the Adam Sandler movies. I can't think of him his name, but we know who he is. He's done a bunch. But she
Yeah.
swapped bodies with him in The Hot Chick. She was also currently she's from Canada. She was on a show called Slings and Arrows. I've never seen it. Have you guys ever checked that one out? Slings and Arrows?
No, I've never actually heard of that.
Oh yeah, she was on that at this time for a few years. I think it was set during like in a theater, like actors in a theater. So it sounds pretty cool. So she was doing that. Another TV star, Lacey Chabert, who I personally think, I mean, the whole cast is perfect. I think like the MVP of the movie is Lacey Chabert. That girl is so
Yeah, she's
funny.
so
Her
funny.
voice, her look, she is acting. She is keeping it going. She is a ball of anxiety. We sometimes forget how awesome she is in this movie as Gretchen, right?
Agree.
Kills it. She kills
Love
it.
her, right? Caesar.
Yeah.
So she had just wrapped up Party of Five a few years prior.
I
So
still
she
love
was
that
on
show.
that. Yeah, that was a big deal. She was a kid. She
Mhm.
also, I forgot, was on the Wild Thornberrys. So she was doing animated voiceover
Yeah,
for
Wait,
a while as
voiceover.
well.
Who was she on the Wild Thornberries? Are you kidding?
Eliza, right? She
Yes.
No. Oh, she's Eliza.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did I
think
not know that?
so.
That's one of my favorite,
I love that.
favorite.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now I hear
Uh-huh.
it. It's her. That's
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Rob
She did
Schneider.
that. Rob Schneider. Yeah, I'm like Rob
Just
Schmidt,
came
something
to
like
me.
that. Yes,
Yeah.
good thinking, Jason. I would look it up on my computer, but I don't want the Wi-Fi to like get wonky because I'm worried. I'm scared. So I'm like, oh, we'll just skip over that. But no, yeah, Gretchen Wiener slash Lacey Chabert. Yeah, so she was Wild Thornberry's Party of Five. I read somewhere that she even was doing a voice on, was it Family Guy, but then was replaced by
Oh,
Mila
she was. She was
Kunis.
Meg the first season.
Yeah,
And she got
Stop.
changed.
interesting.
Yeah. I don't know
I
what
wonder
happened, but
why. Yeah, I wonder.
yeah.
I don't know. I should have looked into that, but interesting because yeah, she obviously was a successful voiceover actress. So I wonder
Wow.
why. But yeah, so she was doing that, and like we were just saying, Amanda Seyfried, cutest little thing, movie debut.
Mhm.
She had done some TV. She was in some soaps. She was a series regular in All My Children. So I think she
Oh,
was a
wow.
New York actress.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
yeah, first movie. And it's funny, maybe you guys saw this too. Apparently, Amanda Seyfried and Lindsay Lohan were very close at getting Regina. They were seriously considered for being Regina first. But I
Oh,
guess
wow.
Lindsay Lohan and Paramount, they kind of came to this decision like, oh, you're such a like star now with Freaky Friday, like people really like you. Let's
Yeah.
not have you play
She's
the
a good
villain
girl.
because I guess people will always
Interesting.
view you as a villain.
Right.
So
Yeah.
and then Amanda Seyfried apparently blew Mark Waters, the director, away as Regina. But I guess it was Lorne Michaels that said, actually give her a quote, the dumb girl role.
I would
And
have
she
loved to see that audition though, to
right?
see her read for
Same.
Regina.
Yes.
And
I wonder if it's online somewhere, right?
I
I hope.
looked, I couldn't find. That's
Oh,
what I wanted
okay.
to find. I totally looked. I wanted to see auditions, but I watched actually Ashley Tisdale was on Watch What Happens Live a few nights ago.
Wow.
And there is a clip going around. She talks about how her and Blake Lively read for Karen. And
Yeah.
Ashley
Okay.
Tisdale says that in her audition she improvised and they
Oh,
kept.
yeah.
Did you see that? And
Yeah.
apparently she kind of like was like shading it. She's like, I
Oh.
improvised something and it ended up in the movie. And it wasn't her playing it.
Oh.
Which I was like, ooh, and then they of course made headlines about it. So I watched the movie
Mm.
today and like thinking, oh my gosh, I wonder what the audition scene was. I wonder
Oh.
what iconic line might have been her improv. And that's kind of wild. That would annoy me if that would piss me off
I
if that was me.
I have to tell you, honestly,
Yeah.
it annoys me and it happens in casting all the time. That's not cool. I don't love hearing that, but wow, I'm glad Ashley Tisdale told us about that. Wow, I don't know how I missed
And
that news.
can you imagine her in that role or Blake Lively? I mean,
I could totally
that's
see it. Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah,
Two
I could
other
totally see
heavy
it.
hitters at that time. But I
And
mean,
it's
no one is
funny.
Karen like Amanda, but you know.
I know, she is so good, and, it's really funny, because maybe because the marketing, the imagery, the posters, the cover, it's the 4 of them, right? But Karen definitely has the least amount to do. She is
Yeah.
very supporting, and I forget that, every time I rewatch, I'm like, "Oh, yeah," because she had the few lines she actually has are just killers. They're just so good, and the way she
All of
delivers
them.
them, right?
Mhm.
"I'm a
Funny.
mouse, duh," like, just the way, but yeah, she doesn't really have a ton to do, which is interesting, The
She
other
doesn't.
3 obviously have way, way more to do. So, yeah, but what a movie debut. Yeah, I love the casting trivia. That's some of the most fun stuff to talk about on the show is like who was up for what and
Yeah.
who did they want, but who did they end up getting, right? Yeah, absolutely.
I
But
love that.
we'll end it there with our cast because we don't want to talk about everyone, but we have amazing performances from Lizzie Kaplan and like we
Can I
said,
say
Jonathan Bennett and yes,
yeah.
Jason.
I was gonna say I read today, I was doing a little bit of research, and I'm not sure how true this is 'cause I'd never heard this before,
Yeah.
but James Franco was in running to be Aaron Samuels. Did anybody
Okay.
else hear that?
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Let me just think. What was he doing in like 2004? What was he already? Oh, he was already in like the Spider-Man movies.
Spider-Man? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Interesting. Okay.
Mhm.
I mean, he was dreaming back then before,
Yeah.
he was sort of
Things
not
sort
doing
of
so many great
yeah.
things. So I could see that, but yeah, I wouldn't change this cast,
No.
And also
No.
another
No.
thing, and again, you're gonna be hearing this a lot from me. Another thing that the movie musical, I didn't hate it as much as Madison did. Jason, we'll hear what you think of it. But I'm not a huge Busy Phillips fan, and I gotta tell you, Amy Poehler owns that role. She
Yeah.
owns the cool mom role as Regina's mom. Like there is no comparison. Like, ooh, that like why not just bring her back in
Well,
the movie musical?
people think that she very much resembles Renee Rapp. Like people say they really
Okay.
look alike,
Yeah,
which I can
okay.
sort of see.
Yeah,
Who, Busy
sure. But I
Phillips?
mean,
Yeah,
Busy Phillips, yeah.
Okay.
but
Yeah,
I
but
would have rather seen Amy in the
Right?
role. Yeah,
And,
yeah.
like, how funny would it have been, because Tina Fey came back, Tim Meadows came back, and they look
Mhm.
amazing,
They look amazing,
I
yeah.
and I did kind of enjoy how the movie musical is sort of a sequel in a way, right? Because now they're together,
Right.
and, like, spoilers, everyone, for the movie musical, but, then Lindsay Lohan does have a very fun cameo, and she's, like, sort of I really wish there was,
I
like
wish there was more to that, or it wasn't in
Yes.
that scene. I think they could have put her somewhere else. I would have liked to
I
see her somewhere else.
I agree, yeah,
Yeah.
or, like, I thought it was fun to have her come out as, like, the Mathlete's host, but, like, I wanted her to be like, "And what's your name, young lady?" And she says, "Katie," and how cool would it have been if she was like, "Me too,"
A
like,
moment or
just,
something,
like,
yeah.
something where it's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this is officially a sequel," because it's kinda hinted at with the teachers, now they're a couple, so I just
Yeah.
wanted, like, one more thing to just drive it home. We're like, "Oh," but, yeah, we didn't get that.
We want to invite you to have lunch with us.
Regina seems sweet.
Get in, loser. We're going shopping.
It's hilarious, number one. It's such a funny movie. Like, I think everyone was perfectly cast. Everyone has their own moment of humor. The supporting characters, like I was watching it today as well, Madison, and like supporting characters, like the other students who have like their little like interview parts, like
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
they're so funny as well. Like it's
Yep.
such a good movie, and you just feel like it's such a comfort movie for me. And like I said, I don't know where I was in April 2004, where I
Mhm.
missed this in theaters. Like, I think back and I'm like, why didn't I not see this in theaters? But I remember watching
Yeah.
it for the first time in college with like and sitting in the dorm lounge with all of our floor mates. It was like
Oh,
a
yeah.
program at college, and I was like, oh, I guess I'll watch this. And I remember just watching it the whole time and laughing hysterically, like crying. And also, like, it was such a ride. Like, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know where the story was going. I didn't know it was like if it was like a satire. Like, it was just a
Yeah.
journey for me to watch it, right? And I remember just like every day I would watch that. I got the DVD when it came out, and I would just like watch it every every day.
Every day, wow.
Basically, if not every day, at least 3 times a week. Me and my best friend at the time, Ashley, we were in college together. We would watch it like every day almost. And
Wow.
since then, like it's always been one of those movies that I'd always come back to. It always brings me so much joy and comfort. I remember when I moved apartments in like 2016,
Mhm.
and I didn't have any internet or cable for like a week. And I would
Mm.
watch Mean Girls like every day. Again, it was just like a comfort movie between Mean Girls and Burlesque. Like every day, that
Oh
was
my
the kind of
gosh.
thing. So I just
Wow.
think it just brings so much joy to people, and it's so iconic. It has been, I think it's every year it just gets stronger. More people fall in love with it. Like it's
Mhm.
so quotable.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that you went from 0 to hero. You were like,
Yeah,
"Yeah, sure, I'll try this Mean Girls movie," and then you're like,
yeah,
Obsessed.
"DVD every day." Wow, I love it.
obsessed, obsessed.
I
Yeah.
I was obsessed with this too, because so I saw it in the theater, and then a few months later, we went to Vegas, my family and I. Great place to go with your family, but we went because my mom had to go there for work, and it was
Yeah,
so hot. We went in, like, August. It's, like, the
oof,
worst time to
the
go to
worst.
Las Vegas, and we were sweating. I'm like, "We gotta go, and let's just, like, rent an expensive movie on the TV," and my family hadn't seen Mean Girls, and I was like, "Oh, this movie was amazing. We're gonna rent it,
That's
and
it.
you're gonna
That's the
love it."
one.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I got the DVD like you, Jason, and once it was out, and yeah, it's a movie that, like, you needed to own, you needed to study, right? It's like that warm blanket where, like, and I love that we actually all watched it earlier today
Mhm.
because
Of
actually,
course.
how some movies, they're meant to be seen at nighttime? This movie,
Yes.
I actually think I prefer it in the daytime. I realized while
So
watching it again, I'm
interesting.
like, I
Yeah.
actually think I've seen this mostly at home, like, on an afternoon where, like, the sun is shining and, like, it kinda just adds to that
Yeah.
fun, nostalgic
It's
teen
like on
thing.
cable or something when we all
You're
had
right.
cable growing up. I think
Exactly.
It could
Mhm.
just be on while you're cleaning. The
yeah,
movie to me, it's like I feel like it's just kind of like a little black dress. It will never go out of style. Like,
Love that.
we're gonna be watching this
100%.
movie in 30 years feeling the
Mhm.
same way, and
Mhm.
I'm, I guess, in the millennial bracket. Someone recently called us, like, the Spice Girl generation, which I love, and
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah,
any movie is more quotable. Like, when I say I feel like at least once a week, I hear someone quoting Mean Girls,
Right.
like,
yeah.
on podcasts I listen to, on TV shows, just, like,
Mhm.
in general. I mean,
So
like,
fetch.
"I'm sick," like,
Yes.
just like it just comes out, like, "Boo, you whore."
Yes.
Like, but anytime, honestly, to the point where I think even Taco Bell is associated with
Oh
this
my God, I
movie.
forgot about Taco Bell. Uh-huh. Yeah,
Like
I
Yeah.
an
know.
iconic Karen line. It's just I
Mhm.
don't it will never go out of style. It will never be like dated for me.
Yeah.
And she is
It's
to me, she is the OG. Like in a movie when I like when I like read a casting breakdown, when it
mm,
says Mean Girl, it's
mm.
Regina George for
Of
me.
Ah,
course.
yeah.
Mean Girl, that's her.
Yeah.
That's who I'm kind of what's the word I'm looking for,
Channeling,
Mark?
right?
Channeling,
Ye
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm channeling.
she's your
Regina George.
inspiration. Yeah, and
She's the
that's saying
inspiration.
something
Yeah.
because we've had a line of Mean Girls in movies before this,
Yeah. Yeah.
Heathers and
Right.
even Jawbreaker, which it's funny, I talked about Jawbreaker on this show, and I brought the filmmaker, Darren Stein, on, which was amazing.
That is
Going back to the
crazy.
DMs, sometimes those DMs
Yeah.
actually are
It
read. It's
worked. It
amazing.
worked. Yeah.
Ricky
Yeah.
Lake shared my story, and then I guess I got a little too about Serial Mom, which I just
I
talked
love
about.
Serial Mom.
Love Serial Mom. Oh my gosh,
Wait,
yeah,
did
I
you
just talked
episode
about
on
that.
that one?
I did, yeah, I'm
Oh,
actually
I missed it.
editing
I
it
gotta go back.
tomorrow. So, no, it's
Oh,
not
it
out
hasn't
yet,
come
don't
out
you
yet.
worry.
Okay.
Yeah, but it'll be out tomorrow, hopefully, if I finish it. But, I tagged Ricky Lake and she shared it, and I was like then I think I got a little too excited, and I said, "Oh my God, Ricky Lake, love you. If you ever wanna be on the podcast, I'd love to talk to you about it," and, like, it says "seen," and she didn't respond, so that's
Well,
okay.
you
I got
have
a
to
little
Oh,
shoot
I got
your
a little too
shot.
excited.
You gotta
Hey,
shoot
you
your
gotta
shot.
shoot.
exactly.
Yeah, I
Yep,
mean,
yep,
whatever, right? Yeah. But,
yep.
it's
Mhm.
interesting because talking to Darren Stein on that episode, we bring up Mean Girls, because Jawbreaker, Rose McGowan, very mean girl, Courtney Shane. We have all these other iconic roles, and we were comparing Jawbreaker to Mean Girls, and it is funny to see a few similarities, and he did say that Tina Fey has never really publicly said she was inspired by Jawbreaker, but everything from there's like some phone call action, there's even
Mm,
that iconic slow motion walk, which other movies had done too,
right.
but there's
Yeah.
some definitely close similarities here that I'm like, oh yeah, that's some drama right there. But
I would
yeah,
love to
that's
see
saying something,
someone
Madison.
I
Yeah,
would love to
like a
see
side by
someone do
side.
the
Yeah,
yeah,
so
but
would
maybe do
I.
like the Heathers
Yep.
to Clueless, which is similar, but not, not entirely to like
Mhm.
Yeah.
Jawbreaker to Mean Girls. Like see how that trajectory kind of goes. I think it'll be kind of
Right.
interesting to break that
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. It's funny because Clueless I love so much, but yet I mean, they can be a little cold, but there are really no mean girls in
No,
Clueless. You
Yeah.
know what I
no,
mean?
no.
Yeah.
They're like
It's that's
90s girls
they're just
Yeah.
90s girls with
in
that
fabulous
vernacular,
outfits. Yeah.
the outfits, the Jeeps. Yeah.
Like,
And
I can't if you asked me to quote Clueless right now, I'd have to, like, look it up. I don't think
oh, okay.
I don't think
Yeah.
I could
I
quote
mean,
it.
there's
Yeah.
she's a virgin who can't drive.
Oh my
That's
god,
probably
iconic.
the most iconic
But
one, yeah.
see, what's
Pretty
so
much, yeah.
funny, Madison, I love this, and this is why, like, I'm so glad I have you guys here because,
Mhm.
like, Jason and I, we knew Clueless. We were, like, your age
Yeah,
when
we were like
Clueless was
10, 11.
Right.
big,
Yeah. I
right?
watched
So
Clueless later in my life, not when it
yeah.
came out. Yeah.
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah, so that's so fun, yeah,
Yeah.
when you discover different things, and Clueless is just as amazing as this movie, but they're very different, yeah, it's
Mhm.
they're famous, popular, great teen movies, but maybe because Clueless is like, kinda got the modern Shakespeare thing going on, kinda like 10 Things
Right.
I Hate
Yeah.
About You,
Right.
whereas this is much more in that kinda Heather's Jawbreaker vibe?
Your house is really nice.
I know, right?
Being with the plastics was like leaving the actual world and entering girl world.
Have you seen any guys that you think you're cute yet?
There's this guy in my calculus class. His name's Aaron Samuels.
No. That's Regina's ex-boyfriend. Ex-boyfriends are off limits. I mean, that is just like the rules of feminism.
You watch when you're 11, you watch it when you're 15, you've gone through like different things. And what I'm thinking about now is, in the beginning of the movie, Jason asks Lindsay Lohan, like, would you like your muffin buttered? Like, do you want
Oh.
me to butter your muffin? And so I remember listening to that as a younger person, and like I was like, I didn't know what that meant. And then so I
Mhm.
watched it today again, and I said, I still don't think I know what it means. And then I watched an
Yeah.
interview about Tina Fey, and she said, I don't even know what it means. She goes, I made it up. It doesn't, she goes, it has no meaning. She said that had no meaning.
Yeah.
And she also said that she made up fetch. Fetch was not a slang word. She totally made it up. So
Well,
I
love
was
Yeah.
that.
like,
Yes.
this makes so sense because in my, mind, I'm like, oh, does that mean like that? Would they put that in a movie? But I think there is no meaning, which I think is kind
Mm,
of fun.
I love
Those
that.
movies where you keep watching and like you always find a new
Something
part,
new.
something
Oh,
new,
Mhm.
yeah.
like you didn't hear it before. I think this is one of those movies where I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
how did I not hear that before? Like, it's so
Mhm.
funny because you think of the iconic lines, but then there are, like you said, like the one-liners throughout the whole cast that all are
Yes.
like top tier. And I can imagine
Top
like
tier.
I would recognize those people if I saw them on the street, like from that movie, even if they had
I
just like
know.
the one line, like totally would recognize them, which I think is
Oh,
so cool.
the
That's like a dreamy part to be in a movie.
oh my
And I
god,
can't say the
right?
same thing about the Mean Girls the musical because they did that too, and
Mm.
they had people doing the
Mhm.
one-liners, and I was like, not the same.
Yep,
But
I hear you.
anyway,
No, you're right. I don't know what any of them look like, but I know all
yeah,
the one-liners.
I see them.
The actress that
Yeah.
has such a great face for this movie, who has one of the lines I repeated the most, "I can't help it if I have a heavy flow and a wide set
Wide
I
set
said
vagina."
vagina.
vagina.
Yeah.
I would say that line with my friends, like, too many times as a teen. But,
And
Same.
she definitely became a successful actress because as I watched her today, I said, "Oh, I think I've seen her in a lot of things."
yeah, I
Mhm.
think
I
she's
don't know
popped
her
up in a lot
name.
of TV. Yeah, we don't know her
Yes,
name.
I don't know her name,
But that's
but
also kind of the fun of it because, like, wow, what
yeah.
a star, but, like, not a star. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
but all of them. I mean, and like all their great lines. The girl that uh I love when like in the burn book, they say she made out with a hot dog. She's like, made out with a hot dog? That was one
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 time.
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 Again, the casting,
Yeah,
excellent
just so
Yeah.
casting,
good.
all and excellent writing. Every person who has a line stands out.
Yes. Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
not
No
think
one is forgettable. Yep.
anyone has a throwaway line. Everything. Even,
Yeah.
and it was kind of sad in the movie musical, Katie doesn't have a dad. I forgot in the Broadway musical, I guess they got
Yeah.
rid of her dad. I saw the
Yeah.
Broadway musical, but it honestly didn't really stay in my mind for very long.
Yeah, same. It was fun. It was a fun
It
watch,
was
but
fun.
like
Yeah. But, like,
Mhm.
walking out, I'm like, I remember the Regina George song. I'm like, "But what other songs are there?" Now that
Those
I've
are
seen the
only
movie.
catchy ones, I think.
Yeah, that was, like, the only one that really got in your brain was, "My
Mhm.
name
my name
is
is Regina
Regina," right? And
Yeah.
everything else, I'm like, "Hmm." But now I know them a little bit more, but, yeah, totally,
I love that you say that I feel like there are so many movies where there's not like most movies have throwaway lines, but I agree. I would also say that there are not one throwaway line in the entire
Right,
movie. And can you say that about other movies? I don't know that you can. Maybe
right?
why it's so
It's
Yeah.
iconic
crazy.
and so
Yeah,
quotable.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
Especially,
yeah.
like, in a comedy for that to, like to every line
Right.
just, like, hits.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Every
mhm.
Fate was
line
spoken.
hits. Come on. You don't find that
Right.
often, right?
Yeah, every
Yeah.
line is either a great joke or it's really propelling the story forward or
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
nasty or it's twisted, like,
Purposeful. Yep.
every line and it's so funny, Madison, talking about that muffin buttered line.
Mhm.
Maybe you saw this too. I guess originally it was gonna be much more vulgar, but Paramount
Right?
really stressed them
Yeah.
to make it PG-13. I guess he was gonna say, Is your cherry popped?" Or something that was
Ah,
way more on the nose, so I actually love that the studio gave them that note, and I love
that
that
she
she just
made
made
something
something up
random up.
because we, like Katie, are like,
What?
I don't
Yeah.
think so," right?
Yeah.
What? Do I and, like, also, like, butter on your muffin? Like, I
Yeah.
don't think you do I want that? No, I don't think so, right? So,
Yeah.
it works out just perfectly, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, it's funny because rewatching that moment when we meet I think his name is Jason,
His
Yeah.
right? And
name
he's
is
saying that line,
Jason.
and immediately, like, that's where we meet the Plastics, that's
Yes.
where
Yeah.
I guess we had met them on the field, during Pass
Yeah.
That Dutch, which we
They
gotta talk about
speak.
this soundtrack. Oh my
Oh,
gosh. The
Oh,
soundtrack
yeah.
music is amazing. But,
slaps,
Regina's
though.
being carried out as we're hearing, like, Pass That Dutch. Missy Elliott, oh my god, what a moment. But this is where we're actually having a conversation with them, and it's just immediately, like, everything about this movie immediately felt like classic, like,
Yeah.
iconic,
Yeah.
like, the look, the shots, the writing, the performances, like, have a seat. It's just like, we are watching something special. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
wild.
Gretchen told me that you like Aaron Samuels. I could talk to him for you if you want.
Really? You would do that?
You're so hot.
Why would she do that? She's a life ruiner.
I knew how this would be settled in the animal world. But this was girl world. All the fighting had to be sneaky.
I mean, I think like it's like ESPN or something is just like
Oh,
I mean, are you kidding? And
perfect.
that was
Yeah.
also a line that I remember not understanding because when I was
Mm,
11, I was like, "What's ESPN?" Like, and then
yeah,
obviously I didn't get why it was funny. And then
right.
as an adult, it's hilarious.
I also am laughing at one. I just love Janice. I feel like Janice and I'm mostly probably more like Janice and Damien, like wrapped up in one person. I just love how I didn't even write the first part. I just wrote Janice's one of her early lines. Your mom's chest hair. I just
Yeah.
like I'm just like, man, I wish I was cool enough to come up with like some of these great like comebacks, like Janice Ian. Oh my gosh. What about you, Jason? Any lines that really stood out to you on this latest rewatch?
I was gonna say the one where they're doing like when all the girls are in the gymnasium and the girl's like, I just have a lot of feelings. I just want to bake. I want to look up the quote, but I didn't look it up. But she's like, I just want to bake a cake with rainbows. And he's like, she doesn't even go here. And then she's like, do you even go to school? She's like, no, I just have a lot of feelings.
Yeah.
She's like, just get out of here. Just
Go home, Tina Fey.
It works so well. Yeah, you need to go home, right? It works so well. And even his blue hoodie that's tied, like, everything is like
Down to the
firing on all
wardrobe.
cylinders. Yes.
Yeah.
I want my pink shirt back. Like there's a reason why we say that. You know how because there's she throws the like art that
piece.
she made, right? The art piece from her show. I won an award or whatever. And then there's a few seconds. I want a prize.
Yeah.
There's a few seconds of like nothing, and then he says, and I want my pink shirt back. And then like we've left them. We're on her, but you still hear him go even higher. I want my pink shirt back. Like it's just it's perfect, right? It's so good. And like I said, even the heavier lines right before that, when Janice says, "You are a mean girl. You're a bitch."
Yes.
Whoa. It stings. We feel for Katie in that moment because she flew a little too close to the sun, right? She's feeling herself a little too much. And it's like, oh, yikes. Yeah. And it gets dark and heavy there. Yeah.
It also makes me wonder, like did Damien improv? I don't know the actor's name. Like, was that improv? It could have been.
It was.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Tina Fey let him keep it in. I read that today.
Because I feel like when they let you like have that last line and the actor just keeps changing it and like makes something new up every time. Like that feels like one of those. And that's again iconic.
Iconic. Perfect choices. So many good choices being made.
Can I do one more?
Yes, please. Of course, you can do many more.
When Damien's in the bathroom with Janice and that like shorter girl's in there, he's like, Dana DeVito, I love your work.
It's so good because also, and at least from my point of view, as a queer boy in high school, I like had boyfriends, short-lived, but like I wasn't like talking about it much. Like, so if you knew, you knew, but like you're not gonna like get, so that's how I was. Like, what I love about that line is not only is it just hilarious and such a great dig at this girl, but he says it because he's in the girl's bathroom and he's being called out. And so it's such a great, smart, funny, but not too mean, comeback, like a way to get her off him, because here she is. She's sort of saying like, get out of here. Like you're not us, because he doesn't really belong, as a gay boy. So for him to come back like that, he's like taking the power back, so that's why I just love that as well. Cause it's so funny, but it's also like,
so good.
Yeah, like it's not a big deal. Fuck off, I love it. Hey, Rewinders. Hope you're obsessed with our Mean Girls conversation. If you're having a good time, be sure to leave a rating for this show on whatever podcast app you're using or giving it a thumbs up on YouTube. You listeners keep me young. Love you so much. We're back after the break.
I want to lose 3 pounds. They're these nutrition bars my mom uses to lose weight. It won't close. It's a 5.
You could try Sears.
Why are you eating a Caltine bar?
What?
They make you gain weight like crazy.
Yeah, one more thing about Amy Poehler that I just wanted to say I love and I really missed in the movie musical, and I thought, why did they get rid of it? Is her fake boobs, her pointy fake nipples, hurting Katie when she's hugging her. The Chihuahua is chomping on them and she feels nothing.
Nipples.
Why would they not include that?
Why would they not include that? And I thought, okay, you have Busy Phillips, beautiful woman. We're in the age of Real Housewives. Thank you. Amen to them.
Yes.
But like, why was she not like, totally surgery,
Botoxed up.
Botox, like why? Like
they could have used aesthetics. They could have been done.
Absolutely. Like maybe she's getting like maybe when we meet her, the new thing is now mom has like her 5th nose job or something, right?
They could have 2024 that a lot of things that I think there were some misses there.
Totally. Yeah. It felt a little surprisingly tame or something for the mom. And I don't know if they were just trying to be like body conscious, beauty conscious, because
they probably are.
I did enjoy that the musical and the movie musical, we didn't hear slut. We heard some words in the original that I had forgotten about. I remembered Fugly Slut because it's just so funny.
Yeah,
But
but they said some
Love
words
that.
that are so no-goes these
oh
days.
yes,
And like
yes.
like 4 or 5 times. The specific
Oh
word
yeah,
I'm thinking that starts with an R.
with an R.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
In
I
the
was like,
original?
in the
yes.
original.
Coming
Oh.
from mostly Regina,
Regina
her
says
mouth.
that
Oh,
R
yeah, yeah,
word. I
yeah.
counted
Yeah,
at
yeah,
least 3
yeah.
times.
I
Yeah,
was
so
also surprised as I was listening. I said, "Oh my gosh, that's so like a word that doesn't get used anymore."
I know. And at
Yeah.
this time, 20 years ago, I mean, we knew that word was not a nice word. So,
Right.
Yeah.
whoa, yeah, that was
Yeah.
pretty bold. I'm sure they probably were like, all right, if we could turn back time, maybe not that word, right?
Yeah,
But
but you
it's
know.
funny how a lot of the insults, like Tina Fey says in the original movie, like, you guys gotta stop calling yourselves sluts and whores because what
Yeah.
does she say?
It's gonna
Because
make
that's
okay
only
for
gonna
guys to call you sluts and
to
whores.
call
Yeah.
yes, exactly, which
Yeah.
I mean, amen. Yeah, right
Amen.
there.
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of the point of the story right there, right?
Right. That
But
Preach,
the
yeah.
new
encapsulates it.
one got rid of those words, which
Mhm.
I appreciated because it's like, yeah, in 20 years we have become way more like sex positive, body
Yes,
positive. So
Mhm.
totally.
yeah, the insults were different and I thought that made sense and I appreciated that. But what are some things well, let's talk about the movie musical now. I feel like we're now at a time where we can talk about it. So Madison didn't like it. Jason, what did you think?
I thought it was fine. Like,
Mhm.
I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I just thought it was fine. You could tell that, it was made for a streamer, so the budget, like, wasn't there.
Mm.
I don't think I really like the musical in general. I think I only like the Regina George, like, her 2 songs. I think she has 2 songs. The
Yeah,
rest
she
of the
has
music,
that really good one at the party, which I like that part in the
yes.
movie musical. That
Yeah.
was pretty I mean, I did think I agree with you, Jason. The budget, you can tell, like, it just kinda looked like made for a nice big TV, not made for a big screen, like the
Mhm.
original, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I did appreciate the work they did with the cinematography in the movie musical. I thought
Yeah.
a lot of the choreography, a lot of the camera work
Fun to watch for sure.
yeah, like, I'm
Yeah.
glad that they leaned into the musicality because one of the reviews I read of the movie musical when a few months ago when it was out, said, like, something that I truly did not agree with, where it's like the movie really stops and like, lags with the songs. I'm like, "No, the songs are what's keeping it going." It's
Yeah.
kinda
Mm.
lagging in the
Other
dialogue
places.
because it's basically just repeating these lines we love with people trying to do them a little differently or, like, that's where it kinda was
Mhm.
lagging for me. The songs I thought were great. I thought a lot of their voices were awesome. I thought, like, going back to the party when everyone's kind of frozen and it's
That
Mhm.
was
Regina doing her
cool.
thing, I
Smart,
thought
very
that was
smart.
cool,
Yeah.
right? That
Yeah.
was pretty mesmerizing. I loved, "Let the World Burn," that
Mhm.
big Regina song towards the end, and how the red
She killed
lights in the
it.
hallway. Oh, Renee
She's a
Mhm.
Rapp.
star.
Wow.
She's a star.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
she's a
Meant for that role, for sure. It's a different
Yes.
Regina. It was like a tougher I don't wanna say that I'm not saying this in a negative way. It was like a little bit more of a butcher, more butch Regina because Rachel is just so girly. So it was an
very
an
feminine.
interesting take, yeah, on a new Regina, scary in a different way,
Mhm.
right?
Like, not that I need to comment on anyone's body, but I
Mm.
I like that she was, like,
Mhm.
a real person. Like, she
Mhm.
wasn't like a, very twiggy, a little thing.
Mhm.
She was like a real girl.
And
I thought that
Yeah.
was
did you see her, in the musical, Mark? She
Mm.
was actually on Broadway, Renee Rapp.
I don't think I saw her when I feel like I saw the musical pretty early on, and am I
She
remembering
wasn't in
correctly?
it?
I think she joined a
Yeah.
little later. Is that right? Do you feel
Mm.
like
She
that's right?
talks she talks a lot about her body image
Yeah.
and going through some not so great times.
Yeah.
She was
Mhm.
on, Call Her Daddy, and I watched her on
Yeah.
there, and
Oh,
I think that's where she talked about her experience on Broadway on Mean Girls. Lots
Wow,
about
I gotta
body image.
listen.
Yeah, it was a really interesting, it was
Yeah.
interesting. I think she is a star. I
Oh
also
my
love
yeah.
god.
her on Sex Lives of College Girls. I don't know if either of you watched
Mm.
that.
I need
Such a good
to.
show. She
Yeah, I
is
didn't watch it, but I've heard nothing but
oh my
great
gosh,
things,
Mark, you
right?
have to watch it. It is
Yeah.
hilarious.
It's over, right? It's said
No,
that
it's
it
season
Oh,
3
is
is
it
coming
still
out.
Oh,
She's
okay,
just
good.
not gonna be in it because she's on tour being a superstar.
She's
Um,
just too huge for it now.
What
yeah,
Aw.
streamer what platform is it on?
I think it's
HBO.
Max, right?
Max, yeah,
HBO
Okay,
Max?
Max.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Here, I guess my problem with it is I think that if you're gonna have Regina be of, like, that caliber, and she's an incredible singer and an actress,
Mm.
I'm just comparing the other 3 girls to her, and the
Yes.
actress that played Karen, while she's lovely, her song
Mm.
was so auto-tuned. I don't believe this
Mm.
person is, like, a singer, uh,
Mm. Who
and
is
then
she? 'Cause she just has one name.
sh
Is she like a
she's a Disney girl, I think. I
Okay, she's
think
beautiful,
she's beautiful. I
stunning.
think she came from
Stunning.
Disney Channel. I'm pretty sure she's got, like,
Okay.
all the following,
Okay.
and the girl that played,
Gretchen.
I also don't know her name, but in the musical Gretchen, Ashley Park played Gretchen,
Yeah.
and Ashley Park, another star. There's another great song, like a ballad, like a power ballad, is the
And
one that
it
Gretchen
wasn't in the
sang. It
movie,
was not in the
right?
movie, and I was looking forward to it because I wanted to her sing, but then she was just saying this weird song in the closet, and I
That
thought,
song
I was
was
like,
Oh, yeah, that
"What?"
bad.
was
I said, "What is going on?
yeah.
Just don't, just don't do it."
Yeah, that
Like,
was a weird song, and it also was, like, a downer, and it wasn't a ballad, and
it didn't
that
feel
is
like it fit to me.
that is one of the few moments, in my opinion, where, like, because yeah, we know the movie musical doesn't hold a candle to the original. It just can't, it's just a new
No,
version.
it's just not fair. You
It's not a
can't even
remake.
compare.
It's just another way of seeing the story, right? That's how I look at it. But, like,
Mhm.
there are just a few moments where I'm like, "Ooh, clunk," and that was a clunk.
It
That Gretchen
was.
song in the closet. And I don't really remember
Unfortunately.
a lot of the songs in the musical. Was that song that she does sing in the movie, was that in the musical? Do you remember,
No, it
Madison?
wasn't.
No,
There was an
okay.
amazing song, and just, like,
Yeah.
why not cast an amazing Broadway actress for the other
Yeah.
3 roles? I didn't know these 3 girls anyway, like, put people that can really sing these songs in the
Yeah.
musical, and I just, like, that bothers me a little bit. I
Yeah.
know there's so much more that goes into it,
Preach.
Mhm.
Yeah.
but if you're gonna have a musical, like,
Yeah.
put the
Mine
singers in, put people that
Yeah.
have no names in, like,
Mhm.
let them. I didn't know those 3 girls anyway, although maybe, like, a
Mhm.
lot of millennials are familiar with them.
Maybe,
Um,
yeah. I mean, I
Perhaps.
know the actress, and
The
I don't know their names
Denziers.
either, but I know, the actress that plays Gretchen in the movie musical. I know she was on Love, Victor, that Disney
Oh, okay,
Plus
I didn't see
Hulu
that, but I
show.
know of that one, yeah.
I watched
Okay.
a bit of that. She was a friend on that, so maybe
Yeah.
she's got a following there, but, I mean, yeah, Renee Rapp aside, and I did like the Karen, but I agree there was still something missing from her, but I
Missing.
thought, "Okay, I'll
Fine.
take her."
I'll
Yeah,
buy it,
she's
yeah.
because she was funny, she was very good at
Yeah.
being just, dead behind the eyes, but, yeah, the other 2 really made me appreciate Lindsay Lohan and Lacey Chabert. Like,
Yeah.
that's when I started realizing, wow, like, imagine Mean Girls without Lacey Chabert and her
No.
panicked
Mhm.
Gretchen, and, I mean, that is you don't have the movie, you know? It's
No,
crazy, and so that Gretchen was
Facts.
a little
I
just
didn't care.
plain.
I didn't care about them, and, like,
Yeah.
the whole part of the movie is you care about Gretchen, you care about Karen, you by the end, you love them. Not even by the
Mhm.
end,
Yeah.
you immediately love them.
Mhm.
I just kind of I could care less about them. I was just like, "Oh, well, you
Yeah.
know."
From Ka Wait, is Karen's first line, "If you're from Africa, why you white?"
I think
Like,
so,
from
Yes,
that
yes.
first
Uh-huh.
line,
Uh-huh.
you're
yes.
just like, you love her right away.
I'm
Yeah.
sold right
Right,
away,
right.
and I was sort of, like, waiting to be sold, and I will say that I
Mm.
my favorite, the actor and actress that played Damien and Janice, I
They
think
were the stars,
they
besides
were
Renee, right?
excellent. I feel like they did such a good job at bringing their own to
Mhm.
those roles while, still maintaining who those characters are, and I
Mhm.
thought
Yeah,
any laugh
Agreed.
I had during the movie was from them.
from them, yeah.
Both really
Yep.
talented, and then that's another really talented singer, she's Moana.
She's
Sh
Moana, yes.
she's so many things, and
Yeah.
I appreciate you cast someone that can
Mhm.
do the part.
And
I
do it,
mean,
That
yeah.
was smart. Mhm. Agreed. I
I
love
loved
them.
them. They were my
I
laughs for the
They
movie.
were great,
I
and I
loved
had
them.
forgotten they're kind of the narrators, 'cause
Yeah,
in the
Oh,
original
yeah.
movie,
they are.
we hear Katie's
Katie.
Katie.
awesome inner
Mhm.
monologue. I mean, it's so funny when she, is trying to get tutored by Aaron, and she's like,
Just like,
"Wrong, so
"Wrong."
wrong." Like, it's brilliant, but I had forgotten, this time it's not so much Katie the narrator,
No,
it's
it's them.
these 2
Um,
sidekicks.
Yeah,
Perfect. I
yeah.
loved them, they were funny, great
Yes.
voices from the 2 of them.
Agree,
That
agree.
mhm.
I'm gonna butcher her name. A
I
Al
know. I didn't even try and say it.
Ali'i? Yeah,
I
but we'll
Yeah,
just say Moana actress, is cute as a friggin' button, the
so great.
cutest girl,
Yeah.
and I love one
Yeah.
of my favorite moments from the movie musical is, oh gosh, now I can't think of it, but her amazing song, basically, she's, like, telling them "F you" after
Yeah, yeah.
the trust
In
fall,
the
and
cafeteria and the
she's
whole
running
she's
through the
running around.
school.
That was
Oh
so
my gosh, I could just watch that,
The
like, over and
continuous
over.
shot for so long. It was just
Yes.
yeah, it was
Oh, yeah,
that
great.
was
and I just thought of it because then she's, like, running into the music room as then they're, like, doing the different instruments. Oh, "I might as well be me" or
Might as well be
something?
me or yeah, yes.
Yeah,
yeah.
something like that. Oh, love
But
it. She is
imagine
excellent.
if every musical number was like that one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And,
yeah.
like, that's what I wanted, and I feel like
Mhm,
Renee Rapp's songs were, and if they were all like those 3 numbers that you remember,
mhm.
Yeah.
god, maybe people would be talking about it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you
They
think,
had they
Jason?
had big they
So
had big they had big shoes to fill. I mean,
big,
Yeah,
oh, the biggest
yeah.
heels, right?
yeah.
Biggest
Yeah.
heels
The
to
biggest
fill,
heels to fill, yeah, it's
right?
true. It's, like,
And
not even fair, which is why I said in the beginning I didn't think it should have been made. It's
oh,
like, why touch what's perfect? And
yeah, it is interesting because it was meant to be on Paramount Plus, and then I guess as they were shooting, and I do love that they shot it in Jersey since I'm a Jersey boy, but I maybe because I
Yeah.
viewed Mean Girls kind of like I'm sure we all did, like in our hometowns. Like I know that was shot in Toronto or yeah, in Canada,
Yeah.
but like to me it just was like kind of in my head, like Jersey. And I guess they did shoot a few things in, I think it was at Montclair. I saw online they got a few shots in Jersey for the
mhm,
original. But I do love that the movie musical is like a Jersey movie,
yeah.
just because it feels so like yeah, Jersey suburb or whatever, right? But yeah, I guess while they were shooting, they were like, oh, this needs to be theatrical, and I wonder if we would be easier on it if it had less pressure, if it was just a streaming movie,
Yeah,
you know?
I think maybe. And
Yeah,
it's funny because this makes me think, like, remember that there was, like, a Mean Girls 2? Like,
I
with
never
Yeah.
saw it. Did you see it,
I
Madison?
never
Oh,
saw it
okay.
either, but
I would
I
think it
know
would
it
be
Nope.
like
exists.
Zero
it
interest.
probably was targeted right to you, Madison, as
Yep,
a kid,
yep, didn't watch
10,
it.
11, and then, a couple years later yeah. Was there a Mean Girls 3 or no? It was
No,
just
just the
2, I
2.
think,
I think just
right?
the 2, but, like, no one talked about in that and then there are the people that are like, "Wait, it's a musical?" Like, people that didn't know, like, I don't wanna
Oh,
hear
yeah.
singing, like, the non-people, I guess, in the industry or,
Yeah, that
actors.
that part was crazy to me. Like, Wonka, I guess I could understand, but, like, we had those few movies, Wonka, The Color Purple, and
Yeah.
Mean Girls
Mean
that were all
Girls.
musicals, but they kinda, like, hid the
Hit it.
musicality
In
part,
the
and I
trailer, they didn't tell people.
right. I
Mhm.
actually loved the
S
movie musical trailer with the Olivia Rodrigo song because 'cause I'm a stan, but,
mm,
I thought that was, like,
I
such a
like
great
her too,
trailer,
yeah.
but I'm just like, "Wait, how did you not know Mean Girls was a musical?" But again, we're all in the industry and, in the
Of
New
course
well,
we
I was
know.
in the New York area, like, so we
Yeah.
knew and, like, we got
Did you
our tickets and all that, you
Did you
know?
see that tweet when someone was, like, recording in the movie theater, and when the Katie started singing after meeting Aaron, they all start laughing in the audience because they didn't know it was a
Oh.
musical, and they thought it was, like I guess they
Oh
thought it
my
was bad.
Oh, that
gosh.
breaks my
Yeah.
heart. I mean, like,
I
hello?
know.
Also, it's like,
That
it's
happened in my
in the
theater too.
oh,
Which is
really? See,
great, yeah.
I went and I think this is what, got Madison and I talking about this because I went, like like, Thursday at, like, 4 o'clock. I
Oh,
went, like, the
smart.
first possible showing as if I was a
Yeah.
major fan, and obviously I love the original, but it's not like I was dying to see this
Right,
movie.
right.
I was just
Yeah.
like, "You know what? It's a slow day at work. I'm
Why
gonna
not?
just,
Watch a
wrap up a
movie.
little early and, like, go by myself," and I was near, like, a family of 4, I was near, like, an old lady, I think
Aw.
another solo guy, 2, like, girlfriends, I'm like, "Yeah, this is right." So, I'm actually happy that I had a quieter experience because yeah, that makes me kinda sad. Because again, it's like, yeah, how did you guys not know? It's even in the logo of the new
There's a
one,
musical
there's the
note.
music note, so,
Yeah.
like yeah.
When I left the theater, there was a bunch of people there that were looked about my age, and we
Mm,
all kinda, like, looked at each other, and everyone was like, "It was weak." And we all kind
okay.
of, like, had a consensus. You know, when you're in a theater and, like, something that happens that there's a joke that's supposed to be funny, but it
Mhm.
doesn't hit, so
Doesn't
then
land.
it's funny that it didn't hit. Lots of
Right,
the laughs felt like that. Like,
yeah,
I'm laughing because, "Oh my god, that was supposed to be funny, and it's not funny," and I'm
yeah,
laughing. And then
Yeah.
I'm looking
mhm.
to the left, trying to laugh with my mother, and she's asleep. And I'm like, "Oh my god, if she
Oh,
fell asleep during this," I was like, "It's really
yikes.
not good." I was like, "Mom." She was said, "This is not good."
Oh my god, even Mommy
Yeah,
Eastman does
yeah.
not like it. Oh my
No.
gosh.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, but like I said, I feel like it kinda came and went. Like, people talked
Mhm,
about it, like, heavily for a long time,
mhm.
and then, okay, then they move on.
Yeah. Mhm.
And we're still
Yeah,
talking about the original, but I guess
yeah.
that's TV now. They make musicals of everything now. That's just
I
like a
know. Well, it
prologue.
is and it also is very funny how going back to what else was out, The Color Purple had the same treatment, right?
Mm,
Movie, then a stage musical,
right, right.
successful, then a movie musical. So it's funny how every now and then that happens with
And
Hairspray
a
and
book to start it.
yeah, that's true. Oh, that's true. A
Yeah.
book. Yeah. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, it's so funny how we're just adapting things. But see, I'm part of the problem because this is why like I do kind of like sequels. I can't help but like be interested in remakes because I think I am just naturally like interested in like, okay, well, what are they gonna do now with it? Like
Uh-huh. Like,
who's,
how are they
so
gonna yeah.
I am curious. I should not be because then I'm gonna be like always kind of let down a little bit and be like, I'm gonna compare like for the rest of time. I'm just gonna nitpick, right? But
Yeah.
I do kinda like seeing the characters again, whether it's a sequel getting older or, like, just who's doing it now. So, I'm kinda part of the, adaptation problem
that's
of every few
like
years
kind of
is,
like
you know.
that's like kind of our like human history. Like how many versions of the Little Mermaid were there when like
So true.
when
So
like
true.
we always kind of do that. We always kind of like retell the same story in a way.
That's
So
true.
I'm just like we have our version that we love,
Mhm.
and our version that we love is always going to be there. And
Mhm.
whoever likes this new one can like it. I don't know
Yeah.
who liked it more than the original. I don't think anybody would, but
Right.
ours is still there, standing strong,
Yeah.
and it's going to be around for the next 50 years
It's
at
not
least.
going anywhere. Yeah.
Exactly. We're
No, this
in like
this
2060
yes,
talking.
Yeah.
you guys will be back for the 50th anniversary, and we'll be like, okay,
Yes.
I can't remember what we said years ago, but let's just like
Yeah.
say whatever's on our mind. Yes,
And I'll have a
exactly.
20-year-old daughter by then, hopefully.
Oh my gosh.
And
And
she,
she'll
like,
be in the new Mean Girls remake.
that would be great. No, she doesn't have to be an actress. That's okay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fine.
It's for the best.
Oh, if
I
she
know,
wants
especially-
to.
Who does she think she is? I like invented her.
Glen Coco. We didn't say, did we do Glen Coco?
Oh, we didn't talk about Glen Coco, one of the most famous characters in movie history, and we don't even know
Unfaced, unnamed,
just like a side of the back of the head,
yeah,
right?
back of the head, yeah.
Wow. I
Iconic.
love that an extra, you know,
Yeah,
the
an
background
upgraded
actor's like, yeah,
upgraded extra.
I hope he got upgraded
Yeah, I know, me
because
too. Yeah, maybe
so.
not. There's no face shown, probably not.
there's no
Honestly.
facial,
Yeah,
really? I
probably
mean,
not.
maybe a side, there's no line. Really,
No.
you only,
No
you
line,
know,
but he's Glen
at least back
Coco,
in the day.
though.
But he is Glen Coco. I
Yeah.
hope to
Go
God
Glen
that is on his
Coco.
resume.
Go
I'm
Glen.
gonna look up on
Right.
IMDb when we're done. I'm gonna make sure it
There's
says
gotta
Glen
be.
Coco. Right? There's gotta be,
Mhm.
but iconic. And none for Gretchen Wieners, right? We say that all
Right.
the time.
I
Right?
know.
Oh,
Oh, another great one is when because someone actually quoted this the other day on a podcast.
yeah.
When Regina is describing Aaron Samuels to Lindsay Lohan to Katie, and she's like, all he cares about is his family and his friends, and and she's like, is that a bad thing?
Yeah.
She's just like, that's another one I love. Again,
Oh.
people are saying this like on the daily. Like I'm just
Mhm.
hearing, "Boo,
It's
you
just part of
whore."
our
I'm just like,
Yes.
it's
And
just
get in
culture.
loser. Ooh, there goes my phone. Get in loser. We're going shopping. I mean, how
Yes.
many times have we said that?
Yes.
And how
And I have to say, I mean, that was a glaring omission in the movie musical. She just says, "Get in, loser." I'm like,
I know.
are we all
Why?
Come
supposed to?
on.
And I wasn't sure. Like, did they want us in the crowd to shout, "We're going shopping"? Like, is it a Rocky Horror moment? Because
Why didn't they do
okay,
it?
but
Yeah,
like,
that's weird.
give us the cue. Like, that was weird. Get in,
Agree.
loser. And maybe if someone else says we're going shopping, or I don't know, but it was so strange to not have the shopping. It was I realized, you know, it's not a major moment in the movie, but the mall scenes are
Mhm. Oh, gosh.
so fun, and I miss that in both the musical and the movie. And I get it, you know, the
Yeah.
musical, you can't have so many scenes. I just saw a play that had so many scenes that I'm like, well, okay, this could have easily been combined into a couple other scenes. Why are we fading the lights so many times? You know? So I
Yeah.
get it. You got to combine. You have to combine some characters.
Yeah, but you can't
you
take
know,
away the iconic stuff, and they
but
also
the
took away
mall.
and the Jingle Bell Rock. When the
Yeah, it
girls
was
start
different.
singing, I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
it's a musical. I want to hear some a cappella.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're not. That's like one of my favorite parts is when Katie starts singing and everyone starts singing along.
Right.
Singing along
It's
with her.
iconic,
It
right?
didn't happen.
Yeah, it's
And they
I just
silent.
didn't do
song
it.
too. Wasn't it a different song? It wasn't Jingle Bell Rock, right? Or was it?
Oh, I think you might be right. I think it was different. I think that
I was
whole
like,
scene
it
what
was
is
very
going
different.
on?
Yeah, it was different.
Damien
And
sang a different song, or
yeah, I
know.
forgot.
I
Oh
wanted
yeah,
to say, "Don't look at
Damien.
me."
Yeah. I guys, I completely forgot how perfectly hilarious it is that Damien is singing "Beautiful." Like
I
that song was huge
know.
at the time, and then "Don't
Yeah.
look at me," and then
Look
Tina
at
Fey
me.
looks away.
Tina Fey looks away.
That was such a great little nod to everyone, but especially like the
Yeah.
gays. I feel like
It's
that was
Yeah.
like
great.
for the gays, you know?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
I love that
good.
Tina Fey looks away. She's like,
Oh my god!
And like, was
so
that
fun.
improvised? That felt like it could have been too.
It
That
could
had
have
to
been,
be.
yeah.
Yeah.
They could have
Right,
just
like-
decided that day, like, I'm gonna just look away, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh,
Like,
it's
I
so
don't
good. And
know.
also, I know I'm gonna sound crazy, and I've said this to people before, and they're like, "Okay, you're crazy." But I do, maybe because I love the soundtrack. I had it. I listen to it every now and then because I love some of these songs. But
Mhm.
the ending song, I was already like a big fan of because I think it was in the Mortal Kombat movie, if I remember correctly, in the
Yeah.
mid '90s. But I think it's called Halcyon On and On by Orbital. It's like that instrumental music that's playing at the very
Yeah.
end where
Yeah.
we're back in the
Yeah.
fall. You know, Regina's doing
It gives me the
lacrosse,
chills
and
almost.
it gives me the
Yeah.
chills.
It
And
gave me the chills today. Yeah.
okay, good.
Mhm.
I'm glad I'm
Yeah.
not alone. It gives me the chills. It's such a nice, happy ending. I love that you
So
know,
beautiful.
everyone's kind of split up a little bit, but you know,
Mhm.
like, but Karen and Katie are kind of together with
Mhm.
Janice and Kevin, and you know, and then
Mhm.
Regina's got her thing, and Gretchen's now with the
The
Asians, which
the
is so
the hot
random but
Asian.
Oh
great,
my
so
Oh,
funny.
gosh.
so
They
I
were
funny. The
so
straightened
funny.
hair.
Oh my god, the straightened hair. I don't know if that is like kosher nowadays.
I
I
think
don't
that's why they
know.
Yeah,
took it out of the new one, but
that would not
Yeah,
fly. That's
because
another
it's
thing that I don't think would fly.
yeah,
yeah, because
it's
not
so
that she was
funny.
like, you know, I don't know if it was appropriation, but it just was an interesting choice,
And she
and I
was
kind of feel
probably
like
speaking too, like, I'm sure that actress is
Mhm.
saying exactly
Yeah.
right.
those words. I don't think it was like, gibberish,
Right,
but
but
it's so
she's
Yeah.
kind of
funny.
it is so
So
funny, and
funny.
It's so funny.
it's I just love that, like Katie's narration, she finds another, queen
Uh-huh.
bee to follow, you
Mhm.
know? But yeah, I'm just like,
Mhm.
"Ugh," and just the way she's delivering the lines in a sort of accent, I'm like, "Okay, I don't know, it's funny, but I feel like this is kinda wrong," you
Yeah.
know? But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know, I get emotional, and like how then there are
Yes.
these new, you know, queen
3
bees of
girls.
the freshmen, which I guess that leads to Mean Girls too or something,
Right,
right?
right.
But, like, I don't know, and, it just I just love the ending. I
It's
love
a
how
perfect
Yeah.
ending. Yeah.
it's a
Perfect
perfect
ending.
ending where not everyone is besties, but,
No.
like,
Mhm.
everyone's content and they found their paths, you know?
Mhm.
And,
Mhm.
I just love how just, you know, Rachel McAdams, she just gives that little nod, and Katie gives it back, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, peace in girl world or something
Yeah.
like that, and
Yeah.
I
Something
thought,
in Girl
yeah.
World.
And it's a
Yeah.
great song to just kinda end with peace, but there's then that still little jab, you know, then when the girls in the bus,
And she goes, "Just
you
kidding."
know? Yeah, and, like, Katie just kinda, like, gives us, like, a wink without giving us a wink, and then we end,
Mhm.
and then we
It's
go
a
to Dancing with
perfect
Myself,
it's a
you
perfect
know?
movie.
Perfect,
It's just a
perfect
perfect
movie.
movie.
It
Perfect,
also
guys.
rewinds a little bit to when Katie does the
Oh,
speech, and
oh,
she's
yeah, yeah,
picking
yeah.
the pieces of the crown,
Yes.
and she's like,
I love
I
that.
forgot the name of who she says, but she's like, "You look so beautiful tonight," and,
Yeah.
it makes me,
Your
like, so
hairdo and
emotional.
I know.
Yeah.
She says, "It's just plastic. It's just
Just
breaks."
click.
And again,
And
perfect
Damien goes,
writing.
"Ah!" Yeah.
Oh,
Ye
the way he right? But, like, the way Tina Fey wrote that, how perfect. She calls these Mean Girls plastics, and
Mhm.
then here is a plastic crown that means something, but
Genius.
really now it's simple, but it's so effective, right?
It's
And the
so
I
effective.
principal,
just
you don't have to give a speech, you
oh my god, he's so
Yeah.
funny. I love and I don't know why, but another line that, like, I can just hear him say it, "All the girls report to the gymnasium immediately.
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 Immediately!" Like
Immediately. Yes.
I did not leave the South Side for this.
right. And another shot, like, going back to the cinematography, I know we were talking about that with
Yeah.
the movie musical, but this one I love, and it's super chilling. You know, how we're on Regina after she's created chaos with the burn book, with the pages flying, and then she's just there, and the
Standing
camera, like,
there.
yeah,
Mhm.
dollies out or pans
Oof.
out,
Mhm.
and everyone's
Yeah.
fighting. Ooh, chills. Like, we have
So
Yeah.
a
powerful.
villain, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, Jason, I love that speech
So
and
beautiful.
how things are good. One thing I did like in the musical and movie musical, which we didn't get in the original, is a scene with, Katie and Regina, because we never really got
Mhm.
right? Am I wrong? In the original movie, we don't really get, like, an ending scene with them kinda, like, being cool together verbally, you know, we just
Verbally,
have
yeah.
that eye look,
Connection, yeah.
Mhm.
but I do like how they have their bathroom moment in the musical.
Yeah.
It felt like we needed that in the original, and we didn't get it, you know what I mean? Okay, everybody, it's late at night. That's why I'm kind of talking quietly. Get ready to hear this very interesting message from my friend, Devin Lotfi.
I do remember on the DVD watching this deleted scene where Katie runs into Regina one last time in the bathroom, and it's a really great shot. She just pops up in the mirror with her braids, and it just gives the movie this little darker edge that I think it needed, because, I mean, as soon as she got hit by the bus, I was like, okay, it went there. We're good, because I didn't think it would be as good as it was. No one did. But yeah, I kind of wish they would have kept that deleted scene. I don't know if you've seen it or if you're going to talk about it on your episode, but for me, it would have just smoothed out the ending to be a little less sweet. But yeah, it's like this weird piece between them, because I think Regina says, you know, when I was little, I had this really nice, expensive German dollhouse. And I remember on the commentary, the creators were like, of course she wouldn't have, like, a Fisher Price dollhouse. She has, like, an expensive, fancy dollhouse. And and my parents were going to give it away to my little cousins. And then Katie's like, oh, and then she's like, so I threw it down the stairs and broke it. I didn't really want it, but if I couldn't have it, I didn't want anyone else to have it. And it's just so great because she's saying that about Erin. Like, she didn't really care, but she cared.
I'm sorry I laughed at you.
I'm sorry I called you fat.
I'm sorry that people are so jealous of me, but I can't help it that I'm popular.
Walk it off! Walk it off!
Okay.
I just have to say, Samantha Ronson is the singer of that song that we hear like 3 times. The like, and I wonder, you know, and how funny. Then just a few short years later, then Lindsay Lohan and Samantha Ronson are
Hooked
a couple.
up,
So
right?
yeah, I thought that was like very.
These are also things that I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
they were like a thing for a minute.
Oh, they were a thing. Yeah, they were. So at my wedding a few years ago, we had pictures. So the tables were named after gay celebrities. So you know,
I love
oh,
that.
you're at the Ellen table. You're at the, and even if they weren't out, you know, you're at the John Travolta table or whatever. So we had some of my like oldest friends were seated at the Lindsay Lohan and Samantha Ronson table. So like, yeah, that was like a big thing, you know, for a bit there.
Oh,
Those
I'm looking it up. I can't wait.
Oh yeah, look it up. That was like at the height of like Perez Hilton gossip. Like that was when Lindsay. My shirt. I'm wearing. I should have showed you. I'm wearing my old Lindsay Lohan shirt that says "Leave Lindsay alone." Yeah,
I love that.
And that's us closing the burn book. And I think my father, the inventor of toaster strudel, would be very pleased to hear about this. But wait, before you go, there is a very fun part 2 of this conversation on YouTube only, where I ask Mean Girls trivia questions. So head there to keep the party going for an exclusive YouTube part 2. Why does Katie like math? Do you remember? Jason?
No.
No? Madison? Thanks so much, everybody, for listening to or watching this Mean Girls Part 1 episode of Release Date Rewind. And a big, big thank you to my guests, my fellow plastics, my teen royalty, Jason A. Coombs and Madison Eastman. Check out their stuff on Instagram. Here's a few different ats. At Jason A. Coombs, at Survival Jobs Pod, at Mad Crafty, at Mad Eastman. Did you get all those? Follow, like, subscribe. You know the drill. Thanks also to Straw Hut Media, Kyle Motzinger, Greg Clements, and Portland Media Center. Follow me also on Instagram at Release Date Rewind, pretty please, to see more content from this chat and from this great movie. And everybody, stay tuned for more teen angst from the past in the next episode of the podcast coming in early May. Now, I'm going to go get cheese fries.